Liberia TV, True FM.
Liberia TV, True FM.
On Liberia TV,
True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrel?
The black barrel is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll take it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of The Closing Argument. Today is Thursday, June the 25th, 2025. It is 5:49 here, Miami time, Eastern time. The weather is beautiful. It's 84 degrees, partly cloudy. While we're doing that, let me go over some of the weather in Liberia. Let me start with the nation's capital. Monrovia is 81 degrees and cloudy. In my hometown of Grand Bassa is 75 degrees and cloudy as well. Nimba County, 74 degrees, light rain. Margibi is 76 degrees, cloudy. Bond County, 74 degrees, very cold in Bond County, 74 degrees, light rain. Lofa is the coldest county today in Liberia, 72 degrees, light rain. The hottest place in Liberia today are actually Harper City. It's rainy, but it's 80 degrees and it's going to rain all day starting at 10 p.m. And if you are from Sando County, it's 75 degrees, light rain. And as usual, it's 84 degrees, partly cloudy here in Miami. This is the weather where you are, so govern yourselves accordingly. Something we're going to be doing all of next week. I want you to take notice here. If you went to high school in Liberia, we'd like to profile your high school briefly for maybe about 5 minutes. If you went to a high school that you are not proud of your school, maybe you may not want to profile, but send in the picture of your high school. Give us a little history about your high school, what makes you a proud alumnus of that high school. I'm going to start next week with the almighty Bassa High School in Grand Bassa County, one of the oldest high schools in the nation. That have graduated men and women of stature. People who have run our country, have represented our country in all areas of governance. We have dominated the law school from time immemorial. We're going to discuss the Bassa High School. Another school of interest to me is Kehleboe High School. If you are from Kehleboe, you got a lot of history out there, Kehleboe High School. Would like to know a little more about Kehleboe High School and why you are so proud of Kehleboe High School. Or if you are from Bishop Ferguson in Kehleboe, talk to us about Bishop Ferguson. Why you think Bishop Ferguson should be the flagship school in Maryland County? If you are from Cape Mount, send me your high school. Maybe you got Congo Public School there. Maybe they have done very well. Tell us a little bit about the high school. If you are from Bummy, let's learn about C.H. Dewey. C.H. Dewey High School, an iconic high school. Let's learn a little bit about C.H. Dewey's high school. What makes you a proud graduate of that school or alumnus of that school? And then if you're from the Monrovia area, If you went to one of the local schools like CWA, MC, ACS, those small schools, let us know about them too. St. Patrick's, send us a picture of the school, the building, and tell us why you think St. Patrick's is the best school in Liberia. What's great about St. Patrick's? If you went to ACS, send a picture of ACS. Tell her why you think ACS was a good school. If you went to Tomalin High School, tell us about Tomalin High School. We want to see your school. Wherever you went to high school, send us pictures of your high school. When the day is over, we're going to give you the numbers where you need to send it. If you're from Mangibi, I think I heard they have E. Regina Thompson High School in Mangibi. If the school is still there, tell us why E. Regina Thompson is such a great school. So we want to have a little rivalry here and see if you're from Bassa. I think the kids from St. Peter Clever High School may want to have something to say. The Catholic boys and girls, they want to have something to say. Or the United Methodist High School, we want to have something to say about the schools in Grand Bassa County. So we had a lot of schools competing for top-notch, top dog in town. We would like to know why you think small school like CWA should be in the ranking. B.W. Harris, those are small schools in my book. I know you're going to have a lot to say. There's a lot of B.W. Harris folks here. There's a lot of CWA folks here. I know my homeboy Michael Padmore is out there talking junk already. It's all right. Bring it on. Mr. Brown, Allen Brown, proud son of ACS. Can't stop talking about ACS. Somebody from ACS profile your school. Let's see what made ACS one of the greatest schools in town. And we can debate that. But that's what's happening. But let's go to current event in the country. And we do not have a shortage of current event in our country, in Liberia. As always, there's always something going on. But one of the things we talked about last night, we didn't go too deep into it, is this warning from the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia. And it reads, and you need to pay attention. It said, Monrovia, the U.S. Embassy in Monrovia has announced that effective immediately, all individuals applying for FM or J non-immigrant visas to the United States must set their personal social media account to public. There is no such thing as far as the Americans are concerned that is called private. If you are coming to these people's country, there is no private person coming here. There's nothing about you should be private. If your background shows, your social media shows that you are into domestic violence, you are beating women, you're doing drunk driving, whatever is in your background, we want to know. If you are going to sit in the room with law-abiding citizens, we want to know who you are. If you are a gangbanger from home, if you ever recruited child soldiers, if you were a rebel or rebel leader and you murder folks, we want to know. And don't go deleting now. The FBI and Homeland Security has a way of excavating what you think you erased. If you are on social media naked, posting naked pictures, dancing and shaking your rump, exposing your body parts, All of these things go to character. Yes, character counts. That's why the United States government is saying nothing about your social media should be private. And it goes on to say, in a statement issued on Tuesday, the embassy explains that this new requirement is part of an effort to strengthen security, the security vetting procedure. The change will help confirm applicants' identity and access their eligibility under U.S. immigration law. Each visa adjudication is considered a matter of national security, the embassy stated, adding that public access to social media accounts will support a more thorough review process. Your behavior on your social media network may pose security threat to this nation. This is no joke. And like the Trump administration said, whether you have a green card or you are a naturalized citizen of this country, if you pose a threat to national security, your citizenship, your green card are privileged to you. From America, you're a beneficiary or your benefactor. Your benefactor can revoke your green card or your naturalized citizenship at will. And they could deport you. The federal judge just gave America all rights to even deport you to a third country. They don't have to deport you to your hometown. If you are from Liberia and pose security threat to the United States, they will deport you to South Sudan. They don't care. They don't have to deport you to Liberia. So if you get a privilege to come to school, to better yourself and better your family and do well by your nation, you should be a proud son and daughter or daughter of the Republic of Liberia. You should represent your country with pride. Welcome, Abu.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Thank you for all you do. And greetings to the audience.
Thank you very much. And we say character counts. I used to teach this to my elementary school children, to my own children. Character counts. And as old as we are, it is coming to haunt other folks. You see some of our brothers, they behave badly. Beating their girlfriends, beating their wife, fighting, and being very disrespectful, being inhumane to other folks. And when you come in a civilized society, the people tell you, you don't belong among us. And you can't say, oh, the white people are racist. No. You are part of the government. I am part of the government. I've said this because I represent Liberia. My character, the way I carry myself, should represent Liberia. And the embassy is saying, by the time you apply for either one of our visas to come to our country, if all your social media It says private. What I said, you should leave your own with God. So what you think, Mr.
Yeah.
Kamal, detail about the United States, the new policy
He
on it?
couldn't. He couldn't have stated it better than what he did. Mother made. I think it's a laudable, effort on the part of the United States to do such a release. You, as a Liberian, going to another country, like you said, not acting in accordance with what the people rule or the policy says, then you are presenting bad image of the country out there. Like you said, well, a couple of our brothers who leaves from here goes to the US on a program and then don't return. As a result, it made it difficult for other people who want to go for a visit. You got people who beating on our women and venturing into criminal acts. And these are all, these are all bad images you presenting to the people, the American people about your country. So I think that statement couldn't be better than what it did. For an example, it goes onto your social media page or pages, state positions that are not in the interest of the America of the US, and you want to go to the people country to go do what in there.
But
So I think
excuse me, not to cut you off, but not even America. Disparaging your own country where you were born.
exactly,
If you can do that to your own country, why may you think you will not do it here?
exactly. In fact, that this morning, one of the CDC folks, I'm not going to be political. They did a poll taking photo from another country and then presenting bad image of the country. And these are things that I think the American people want to get rid of. Because, for an example, you do something that have a proclivity to jeopardize fragile peace. It's not something somebody else will cherish. So I think I concur with you, man. Concur with you.
We whether you like the government, whether you don't like the government, you are still a citizen of the Republic of Liberia.
Exactly.
You have to carry yourself that when people look at you and say, "Oh yeah, well, the way he carry himself, he has the right to say all of these things he's saying because he carry himself like a gentleman or like a gentlewoman." Okay, that the nation, that civic, we are this civic. Okay, government starts in the home. The way you take care of your family, the way you take care of your neighbors, tells you how you're going to run your country. So yeah, we may disagree with government, we may disagree with our politician, but our nation still comes first. So when I go on social media and see some of our women, let's go to the women. They are doing all kinds of stuff on. I mean, I'm talking about whether it is for rating, whether it is for views, but they are basically butt naked, doing all kinds of stuff on social media, and sooner or later you won't see that anymore, and that's a great thing. You see, Martin Luther King used to say, and he said, when we cannot regulate good behavior in people, then we have to legislate it. If you can't behave the way you're supposed to be like a real human being, now we will make a law to make you behave. This is where United States is at this point. If you are not regulating yourself as a human being, as a responsible person, then now we will make laws to make you behave. Though you may not like it, but we will legislate your behavior. This is where we are. You are a woman. Some of them have children. They got families. You don't care if you are embarrassing your family, your school, your children, your sisters, your family members. You don't care. You are shaking your behind, butt naked on TV. You're doing all kinds of stuff because you either want views. So then you go to apply for a visa to come to the United States. And the guy and the visa officers go on your TikTok page or your Facebook page and sees you being demeaning to yourself, not to anybody. Basically,
But to your very self. To your very self.
crime against self. You are degrading yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, if you don't care about yourself, why would you even care about somebody else? Then when they deny you your visa, you go out there crying, buku. Somebody don't wish me. My enemy don't want me to travel. You go to some imam to pray for you. You go to some pastor somewhere to take your money, lie to you. He himself can't go to America, but he can pray for you to go.
Exactly.
So this is what your take on that.
Yeah, but Mr. Given, like I said earlier during my opening statement, yeah, these are things that should be discouraged. For an example, our females, right? These are people that birth us. For me, I don't like to talk much of of women because they are our mothers. But see how some of these girls, more especially in a country that you live, see how do they present themselves on Facebook? You wear it close, like in fact compromising your pride. You have your, part of your body that shouldn't be shown to another man that is not your girlfriend, that is not your boyfriend, or
So
neither your husband.
any human being, period.
Exactly. That is not your boyfriend or neither your husband. But yet you go Drex and then present a bad image of you, because imagine you wearing a clothes that is not covering your body. Eh? Imagine wearing a clothes that is not covering your body. And for me, I that's the reason why how you call it? You have most of our female friends, right? The rape, people can say rape is on the increase because it's tempting. It's tempting. You go, you wear a clothes that you got to wear a skirt that is, that is not beneath your knee. Imagine that, you know what happens? In fact, some of them when they say that, you if you see things that you're not supposed to see. So I think, America, whoever prompted that idea, did an excellent job. And it must be commendable. It must be commendable. It must be
Yes.
commendable because women should be our cherry treasure, right? It should be our cherry treasure. And I'm speaking from an experience. I've seen multiple of female friends. They are not my girlfriends, though, but multiple of female friends go to those entertainment centers, go to those gatherings, and you see how they dress. So America, for me, this decision is timely, and I think it is meant to discourage people who are in constant habit of, dressing, demeaning, because you are demeaning yourself, not me. Because if you wear clothes that you're not supposed to wear and go to the public, absolutely, man. Hey, like compromising your pride. In fact, you're presenting an image of you that you are not, to be respected. Because the fuel, any any sound person, or any impeccable person, the first thing they will do, they will evaluate you by your presence, your dress code. They will evaluate you. They will take it serious by how you appear. For example, you go into, to an interview wherein you are being asked to dress properly. Because obviously when you get that job, you have to be presentable in discharging your function for which you'll be hired. But unless instead of doing so, you are dressing like somebody who is, standing by the rule, asking somebody, promiscuous act, man. For me, I think it is a good thing that the U.S. government, kind of honor taking, and we must applaud them for such decision. It is actually
Great.
in the interest of all of us.
Great. Before I go to the next topic, there was a gentleman from Lofa, representative, when the folks were talking about gender-based violence, women, female circumcision, all that. He said, it is part of our culture. We cannot, we cannot, we cannot, I can demolish the entire culture. And somebody asked him, can our culture stay intact without some of the ills? I mean, there's nothing wrong with our culture. Every culture needs to adapt as we grow and we learn more, we know more. We adapt, we adjust with keeping the core of our culture intact. And he said if he had to vote, he would vote that they maintain that because it's part of their culture. saying that on national TV, those are the things we are talking about. You have, when we were all born, we were, you know, those of us that were born in the interior, we grew up, you know, differently. We were basically born with superstition, okay? But as we went to school and we learned, we begin to adjust our lifestyle that everything is not superstitious. So we adapt to where we are. That's what the human capacity is all about. So when I heard that young man saying that, and I'm saying to myself, nobody is saying that we should throw our culture away, but they are some part of our culture. Because when we were living in caves, we used to do human sacrifice. We used to do all of these things. Every society did that. But we have come to the level where it's not necessary anymore because we thought by sacrificing human being, you will live long, or you would capture that person's power and you will become more powerful. I mean, all of these things we find out they are not true. But the second thing we want to talk about, we got to commend this government. And you know, I don't commend this government on a lot of stuff, but this one, it says here, weeding out the bogus institutions in Liberia. The National Commission on Higher Education has released a sweeping evaluation report uncovering widespread deficiencies across Liberia higher education sector. The report highlights long-standing challenges at some of the country's top universities and announces the suspension or closure of 53 territorial institutions found to be operating illegally or falling short of regulatory standard. Dr. Edward Lama, Wokoyo, Director General of NCHE, said the exercise was part of the effort to access compliance. So this is where we are, and the schools are, I mean, we talk about 31 universities, and many were put on warning lists to be closed, including the University of Liberia.
Wow.
The University of Liberia is included in a school that needs to do more. This is serious. Charter institutions are created by legislative enactment. Accredited institutions have met threshold standards for academic quality. If you are a licensed institution, you are approved to operate to have certified minimum requirement release related to integrity, sustainability, qualified instruction, and student assessment. You need to have quality assurance. You have to have methodology. So if these institutions do not have these, how are they operating? How? So we have to give the government credit. 31 universities and colleges. 31 in a small country. 99% of them are in Monrovia. Charging exorbitant fees. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what I said. Like I said the other day, I take pride in myself for voting President Bouaka, because obviously I knew, given his track records, ranging from his days as FPMC boss, agriculture, FBRC, and the rest of the institution he served prior to becoming vice president and subsequently president. He served distinctly, and that's one of the reasons during the campaign, a vigorous campaign for him, because these reforms are happening under his stewardship as president. And before you come to another topic, the president just suspended one of his closest allies, one of his trusted friends, Ato Masakwe, the still enterprise boss, for financial improprieties. And when you have leader taking these kind of actions, it tells you that the president is ready to lead. And I just send in the chat around whether you have seen it. So let me applaud the National Commission on Higher Education. To be honest, though I am a product of a private university, but there are a couple of institutions who lack the environment. They don't have sustainable environment, they don't have a conducive environment for learning. Like you intimated earlier regarding some of those institutions that that don't have good instructors. Some of them are acting in isolation of what the rule says, that you must meet certain criteria before becoming or before getting started as a university or college, as you may name it. So these reforms, I'm glad that it's happening, and that these reforms are happening, and it's happening on a burger that we that we campaign vigorously for. And let me applaud you, Mr. Gaiman, in respect of our side. Well, maybe let me publicly confess today. You say wrong when there is wrong. You say right when that is right. So it is not a surprise to me that you commending the government today. And all of us are aware it's an integral part of people's nature that everybody may not agree to a particular thing. But when the right is done, there should be some acknowledgement. But unfortunately, people comes on the show and other networks and portrays everything to be bad on this administration. And that's where for me I have an issue. When there is one, all of us should criticize it as a pointer out to everybody that everybody has shortcomings. So today the president again once more exemplified leadership that he has been doing since he assumed the responsibility as president. So I think it's actually in the right direction.
Among the institution review were some of Liberia flagship university, including the University of Liberia, Cottington University, AMEU, African Bible College University, and Tomalin University. While these institutions were not suspended, the higher education has issued a 1-year ultimatum to address persistent administrative, infrastructure, and academic shortcomings. These are some of the biggest schools in our country.
Yes, exactly.
The University of Liberia, Cottington University, AMEU.
The University of Liberia is the premier university.
Yes. They have 1 year. They are giving 1-year ultimatum.
So I'm very certain, to buttress you, right? I'm very certain that the 1-year ultimatum, I'm very certain these universities that you listed, the University of Liberia, the AME University, and other schools are listed. I'm very certain the 1-year ultimatum, ultimatum that I was giving them, I'm very certain they're going to correct all of the wrongs. All of the wrongs that the national education, the national, whosoever, the authority that they release that stuff to actually act, because it's not a good sign though, because the University of Liberia is a premier university in our educational sector in Liberia. So when you have NHS, I know what the nomenclature you may tell me as issuing these kind of releases, it doesn't offer well for us internationally. But again, these are things that that have been happening. It is a systematic problem. So now that you have an institution who claw the authority to correct some of the wrongs, are voicing out, I'm very sure whatever steps that need to be taken, if your president will act, he will actually act.
Great. Welcome, Mr. Nambi.
Welcome, Mr. Nambi. Welcome. Good to see you after a while.
It is good to be here. Yeah, it's very nice of you to come on after a while, but it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to our audience as well, and thanks for joining us, share the show. So yeah, I was coming and listening to you guys. I was in the bag. The president suspending people. I think a couple over the past few days. I think it's a welcome development. I always like to also join Jerome and others in giving credit where it is due. It's belated, but notwithstanding, is worth commendation. But I wonder why it took him so long. And again, I'm not trying to knock on what he's doing. I think he's welcome, but it's like this president brought some of his cronies and say, can't eat for 12 months. When you're full, and then because he told us this when we met him back in August in Atlanta. He said to us, I know I run a government, a coalition government, a collaboration of other parties, and we formed this government. So right now, I'm giving people to appoint some of the people I don't even know them, but I'm giving these people 6 months, and I'll clean house. This was back in August of last year. It's almost August again. So, and most of these people, they've been in the news for a very long time. The MCSS director, he's been in the news forever. So it's almost as if, he's giving them a chance to eat enough, and then, he will suspend them. Some of them he's sending them to LACC, which is good. I hope the LACC will be able to, make them restitute whatever they took illegally. But we're happy that he's finally doing this. I hope this is him turning the corner and doing what we've been expecting, what we've been hoping he would do. Masako and other people, I think they're close buddies of the president. And there are a lot of other people in the government who have been reported to be rotten and corrupt. I think he should get onto them and suspend them and send them for investigation. I mean, Abdul Kamara is being, first of all, Kamara was a part of the audit, part of the team that was audited when what's her name? This government member, I forgot her name. When the whole team was removed, and the president promoted him to become the chair of the board, in spite of the fact that he was part of that audit team. I mean, that team that was audited based on that audit report that the president, is suspending these people. So it makes you wonder: is he really applying this justice, across the board objectively, or is he selective? But be that as it may, we'll take the little victories, and this is a good day for Liberia. So yeah, on the schools, I think it's also a welcome development. Edward Wonkoyo, we know he's been around for a while. If you remember, I think he's the same Wonkoyo who Penal beat Abu Yimebilo Yongo. You may not remember this, but during the heydays of the PRC, I used to live right there on 21st Street. In Fiamma, a few shotgun, and I witnessed the incident. We were still in school, but he was driving, I still remember, a Volkswagen, and some panel was trying to overtake him on the wrong side of the lane, and somehow he found Wokoyo to be in the wrong, put that man down, and beat him right there on the street. So he's been an activist for a while. He's been in the limelight. I'm a bit disappointed that my own Cardinal University is on that list. I understand you guys. I agree with you. The University of Liberia, these are the premier institutions in the country. Almost all of them.
AMEU.
Exactly. So it is embarrassing, but I think it's for the good. I hope this is going to compel them, to clean house and do better. We raise a lot of money here for Cardinal. The Alumni Association is not a lot, but by Liberian standards, we do our part because we're proud of that institution, and we want it to continue to be the number one institution in the country.
You say you want to be what?
It is the number one, and we want it to remain so. Number one on top of the University of Liberia, number one on top of TU, number one on top of AME.
Number one, you're Bongani.
You smart before. But Mr. Name, next week we're going to profile. I'm going to start profiling some high schools for first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you want to, they're like we're going to start with the big schools, right? Like Bassa High School, the premier school at Bassa High School. Then we come down to the little school like Totman High and all.
I'll be back.
Wait. Is there a Bassa High School? And how is it a premier school? There's really a Bassa High School, and how is it a premier school?
It takes in very few select, and I'm sorry that you were not one of those. But next week, be ready to have your Totman High School. I want you to take a picture of Totman High School, not what it is now, but what it was when you were there. If you can find a photograph of Totman High School, and let's profile Totman High School. Let's see who all are alumnus of that school, proud graduates, and why they think that Totman High School is the best high school. And those guys that went to small school like ACS and CWA and St. Patrick, they can take a small picture and send it. We'll put it up. But if you come from Kehleboe High School, send me Kehleboe High School picture. I was in Kehleboe a long time ago. I went to some school that they call Bishop Ferguson. I was quite impressed. Impressed with that school.
That was my sister's alma mater, Bishop Ferguson. Yes.
Excellent school.
I think it's an Episcopal. I think it is an Episcopal.
Yes. Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes. So, guys, we want to have a little rivalry here next week. If you're from whatever high school you come from, don't be intimidated by Basso High School.
Someone is telling you to mention Monrovia College. Monrovia College,
Monrovia College, the monkeys. Yeah. The monkeys, yes. So next week, send in picture of Monrovia College. Send in picture of St. Patrick, where it used to be. Send in picture of your high school. What makes your high school the best high school in the country? And tell a little bit about your high school and the accomplishment. If you're from Well Heston High School or Charlotte Talbot High School, I know, like I was saying, in the Margibi area, where it was another name, they have some school called E. Reginald Thompson High School. I don't know whether it's still there. It was a great school. Well, St. Augustine, is St. Augustine still in Kakata? BWI, if BWI is still around, we want to see what makes these schools great over the years. Basso High School from 1901 will give you all the history as one of the oldest institutions. Okay, we will give you the history. We'll tell you some of the graduates, some of the proud graduates from there, and why we dominated the law school for a whole century. For a whole century. I'm talking about 100 years of Basso dominance of the law school, Arthur Grant School. This was just named it Basso School of Law. But anyhow, we'll talk about that, and it should be for next week. But let's talk about issue.
If you just give me a couple of minutes here, Jerome. Let me make our audience part of the broadcast. Let me welcome
please call some names here.
From my dashboard here, I see Peter White. Peter is always equating our support of Musa ability to dollars and cents. Musa, but then your money will run out. So Peter, but it's good to have you here in spite of your allegations and accusations. Good to have you here, Peter. I see CDC Pape Success Keita for life. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. M. Tefo White. I hope I'm saying it right. Tefo T-E-F-O-H. Tefo White. Thanks for joining us. Tefo Amos Colley. Thanks for joining us. Eno Rodriguez dos Santos. Eno, thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Anthony, I don't know why you're not on set. Anthony W. Gaze Sr.
And guys, please tell her where you tuning in from.
Exactly. It will help. Sophie Blamo, welcome again. Tell us where you guys are watching from. Hamilton Taylor, thanks for coming. Ruth Rabos, Bengba. Ruth, I hope I say your last name right. I know you are a regular here, Ruth. Thanks for tuning in again today. It's good to have you. Or Martin Willie. I think Martin always tells us he's watching from South Korea. So Martin, thanks for joining us.
Excellent.
Celia Sunding, I believe I'm saying your name right. Thanks for joining us. Again, you guys tell us where you're watching from. Agatha Glasgow. Agatha West, thanks for joining us. Fizz Electronics, Jerome, that's our best.
Come on now. Agatha Glasgow is watching you from Tinker Village.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and also, I will pass it on you. Let me welcome this Grumpy Cardinal. Hello, Sidishan. It's good to have you on set.
Hello, CMC. What's up, CMC?
It's good to have you. Joseph Molly Wally Conde. I hope I'm saying it right.
Yes.
Welcome. All right, Jim, I'm passing it on to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You look splendid. You look like a CDC queen.
She ready for the summer.
It's hot today. I'm not getting it hot.
It's all right.
I mean, you said it even in the house. It's so hot. I don't know what's going on, but the heat is just too much.
All right, Jim. Sorry, sir. I have a correction here. Celia Sunning is telling me he's a male. I hope I did not, categorize you as a female. But
I'm sorry, I came like this, but I'm really hot.
Yeah. Celia says watching from Maryland. Yeah, no, sir. I mean, to me, you look good
Yeah,
for
you
the
look.
season.
Listen, the heat wave.
Yeah,
There's been a heat warning for the
we've been
entire.
in the heat wave here. Oh my goodness,
It's
it is
crazy.
crazy.
I
It's
mean, it's so
crazy.
crazy. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is crazy.
we were in Minnesota and I was shocked. It was 101 degrees while we were
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Imagine what people are going through in the kind of hot weather, we have in our country back home.
Monrovia has been cooler than my weather here
Oh
in
yes,
South Georgia.
yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
While you were out, the weather in Monrovia is 81 degree and cloudy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In Basa it's 75 degree and cloudy.
Yeah.
Nimba is a little cooler, 74 degree light rain.
Oh, wow. But then they're way better.
Yep, Mangibi is 76 and cloudy. Bon County is 74 light rain. Lofa is the coolest today, 72 degree light
Oh,
rain.
wow. Wow.
Harpo is the hottest city in Liberia today, 80 degree and rain. It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain all night starting at 10 p.m. Sino County, 75 degree light rain. And in Miami, my hometown, it's 84 degrees. So here we are, looking pretty. But Sarah, we have some issues here we've been talking about. Earlier this week, Mr. Gongloe and the folks from Nima wanted to come on, and we cleared the calendar for them, so we are waiting. But we're going to be talking about current events. And one of the things that we've been talking about was the United States warning about all your social media handles should be public, not private anymore. And some people are not comfortable with that, but I am very comfortable because I got nothing to hide.
Absolutely.
If you come into these people's country, they consider themselves civilized and organized and legit. To be among them, they want to be comfortable with you. So what is your take on this particular policy from Homeland Security?
Well, for me, like you, I don't have anything to hide. And I mean, the only thing is sometimes, like some people will say that I don't know, First Amendment right, or maybe the HIPAA, like the privacy issues and stuff like that. But once it comes to, I'm pretty sure maybe some of these things are for security purposes, like national security issues. So if that's the case, then it's got to be welcomed by everyone because we all want for this place to be safe, and not only this place but all over. If you're traveling, you want the air, the sea, everywhere to be safe. So I mean, if you make some of these things open, people will know who you are. They can go after. They can search your Facebook pages, and because we've seen, Mr. Gateman, we've seen in this country most of the serial killers and people that have been doing all kinds of things. Sometimes they go on their Facebook pages and post some of these things on before they execute their plan. And then after they should have executed their plan, when people go to check behind them, they come to find out that this person, they were planning this thing for a long time. They were posting pictures of themselves, killing a whole bunch of people, stuff like that. So for me, it's welcoming. I really don't have a problem with it.
Mr. Namwe, when you and I or every one of us that travel, when we go to the airport, they ask you to take out your shoes, your belt, put them in there, and you put your hand up in that thing, and you do it.
You know what? I still remember. I think that was given to her by Robert. Was it Robert Reed, the shoe bomber? Yeah, he's the one who. I mean, that's the whole Al-Qaeda. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with the call and anything that will enhance security, even though it may be embarrassing. But I think it's worth the inconvenience. And Sarah is right. Most of these people, some of them even stream some of these things live on their social media account as they're doing them.
Yep.
So it is good for these people to have access to their, their accounts, and I think it's good for all of us. Maybe it will enhance security and so that some of our conveniences will return to traveling, especially. Yeah, I mean, we were in Minnesota over the weekend. You remember that? You had to take out everything: your jacket, your belt, your shoes, everything. A cell phone, all of that. It's inconvenient because you have a plane to catch. You got it slows the TSA line down, but it's a good security measure. But before I pass it on to you, I'm just picking up on this guy, so I'm still reading up on him. Zora Medani. Mandani is poised, I think, to become the next mayor of New York. This is a kid who was born in Kenya, Uganda, Kampala. I think he's only 30 something years old, 91. He was born. I was already out of Cutting by then. So he's a kid, but he came from nowhere, just a state assemblyman, I believe.
Yes.
And the common name is an establishment name in New York politics, even in Democratic politics. But it looks like this kid is poised. He's already, Como has conceded, and it looks like he's going to be the next mayor of New York. So congratulations to him. I know I saw during the campaign, Ocasio-Cortez, I think Al Sharpton, the whole, black and brown establishment in New York. They seem to have put their weight behind this guy, and then you had other people putting their weight behind Andrew Cuomo. So congratulations to Mandani. I think he's on his way to becoming the next mayor. And the issues that he ran on, I understand those are issues that mean a lot to the young people. Ring in New York City. I don't know if Japan probably the most expensive other than that. New York City, I don't know if they low. You can be in a one little room, tight little place. You might be paying you might be paying $5,000 a month. So most of the people end up commuting from places like Hoboken or Jersey City, across the bridge, and working in New York. And some of the people even on Moorestown, because New York is so expensive. So I understand he is pledging, to help, stabilize and reduce even rent and childcare, in Liberia, but over here, my last kid, we had him here, my wife and I. Oh my God, it is very expensive. You got to pay babysit. It's very, because you in Monrovia, you can take your child to your neighbor, and you can't do it here. Social services will come after you, and so childcare is very expensive, and that's also something that means a lot to the young people. Those are the two major issues that I understand. He championed among other things, and I think they kind of ranked true to the people, and so they thought he would be the right person, as opposed to Andrew Cuomo, who we used to call the president of COVID. And then we see Musa is doing the same thing here in Liberia. I know Sarah would not want to hear this, but it's all about
I always think I'm anti.
people always say, "What have you done for me lately?" And Musa is not telling them, "Look, when you give me this is what I will do." He is doing it. He's a talking dude, And I've had lots of questions even as I was coming on air. One of my best friends, all the way over G, he and I were communicating. He wants to know, why am I supporting Musa? Because he's from the progressive camp. He and I, he's from LPP, I'm from UP, but we're best of buddies. He's part of our political affiliations. And he knows I supported CPP. He's asking me, where's Alex? And I told him, look, Musa is proving to me, he's doing those things that you and I have been fighting for over 40 years ago. Help our people. And he's doing some of these things already, even before, he comes to them to ask them to give him the high office. And why can't I support him? Why can't I help him do those things? And so that's why it's driving me to the CMC. So, I'll try to send a form to Sarah. And Susan was on last night too.
But let me tell you this.
Where is the Abu Mehu are you talking about that? They started in opposition for 6 years and criticize everything that other people did. Now he come on here to come be president again.
He's just talk about two things, The president
he keep on here to come president again because praise the government for school. But are you kidding me? What the fuck are job for the picking up?
Listen, the young man, he's 36 in New York.
Yeah.
He's going to run into problem because all of the things that he's promising, they are all either federally funded. He cannot do it. Like, for instance, you cannot cap rent. It's the free market, okay? It's supply and demand. You can't come to my house and tell my private house that I can't charge what I want. I can charge $10,000 if somebody is willing to pay it.
No, but Jerome, I understand there are some federally they have not the Section 8, but I think there are some 1 million units, I understand, that are directly being responsible for by the city government of New York. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, but whatever it is, it has to go through the process of, because he's a councilman. Those things are approved by the council. Like someone was saying, this guy been sitting on the council for all these years, and he had never put these things through. So here we are. Now he's talking about free transportation. Are you kidding me? The transportation system here is federalized. Are you going to say the federal government should provide free transportation for everybody? It's impossible. Then he says he is going to hire social workers to do policing.
Who's your candidate? Who's going against you? Who's the Republican candidate?
I don't know who the Republican candidate is yet.
That's how bad he's going to do because he's unknown.
I think the present mayor Adams is going to
What
win.
they make us to New York politics, my people.
Adams is going as an independent though. You're muted, Jerome. Welcome, Ahmed. Good to have you.
Yeah, now we take over. Someone's calling me.
Yeah, Ahmed, welcome on set. Asura, were you in flight? Were you saying something, or should I bring?
No, I was just saying, why is he taking us to New York politics when we are here to discuss Liberia?
We live in the States now, Asura. You go to New York all the time.
You have a lot of Liberians living in New York.
Exactly. So sometimes you go to Maryland, you fly from JFK. JFK is in New York. You know that, right? So
I know.
sometimes you pay a hotel room to sleep in New York, and all of these things they're in New York. But Ahmed, welcome on set, my man. I read what you wrote. Congratulations again. You're very prolific, but you write very well. Two Liberians,
What he wrote, the ink is getting dry little by little.
The rescue and the risky Liberia, and you
The ink you gonna put more money behind the ink.
You lean heavily on the
How you talking?
Listen now, the man from Lofa now, I'm warning you.
That Lofa solidarity.
The man from Lofa.
Better get there.
What are you saying, Jerome? Because I read today, some kind of colleague has already crossed over the Liberia.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Tifa and all the Lofians should come home, and they're coming home.
Are you saying Ahmed is on his way?
So all the other content that will start forming groups, huh?
But listen, Joe, we have appointed 9 people, 11 people from Lofa, nobody from the side. You will blame us. We should be mad with him. Like I'm mad with him.
I know, right?
We ain't got no leadership. All with the Lofa.
Joe, we are special. Something in his heart is from Lofa. Somewhere in his heart, some DNA of his from Lofa. All his people from Lofa. I don't know why.
Well, for me, I don't subscribe to tribal politics.
Oh, come on. You all say that until the chicken comes.
They say action speaks louder than words.
Yeah, right.
Okay, then let me ask you this, Ahmed. Do you subscribe to uncle-nephew politics?
Well, I really don't think that should be fine. No. Particularly so when that uncle-nephew is much more of a perceptional relationship and not really blood. Because there's one thing, for example, if your actual blood uncle or brother was in a race and then they say, look, let us provide support. That's a different thing as opposed to perhaps.
Okay, so for Lofa and not the grandchildren duty thing, right? Where you can't go against your duty, is that one different.
So all of those things when it comes to deciding as to who sits in the mansion, who drives the national narrative, in my view, they are trivial. They should not be the basis.
No. Listen, Ahmed, please, come on now. Let me ask you, is Joseph Walker your uncle?
As per the tradition.
No, just answer the question. Is he your uncle traditionally?
Traditionally, yeah. Biologically,
yeah, traditionally he is.
Thank you. Okay.
Case closed.
No, but listen. Mm-hmm. As much as Joseph Walker just becoming president, but of course, for the past few years, I've led effort against his desire. I've led effort against his ambition, and up to this point. So, I mean, all along when Bwaga was vice president, I could have, of course, maybe form a way to the uncle, or when he wanted to become president, I would have supported him. So why not now? If I decide to give Bwaga support, it would not be because of relationship. It would be because perhaps I think I can get something to benefit, and of course.
So will you agree? Will you agree that's exactly what Tifa is doing?
Well, I think Tifa. Look, the Tifa thing. I'm pushing a narrative that consider all these guys assets, and I think as we go to 2029, it's important for them to come back. And as such,
come back where?
Come back in the opposition with CDC. And look, it happened before. Eugene Nangwe left CDC, he came back. So it is with other people, as I wrote in my article today.
No,
so
come on. Come on. I mean, when did Eugene come back?
So you have to let me learn.
I know. No, I don't want you to learn now.
No, let him learn.
When did Eugene come back?
Just allow me to learn.
Okay, go ahead, learn. Yeah, learn a soft mattress.
So it doesn't matter when he came back.
Come on.
The issue about politics is a fluid game. You understand me? Enemy today can be friends tomorrow. Friends today can be friends tomorrow. Yeah, I can call back today. Some people in CDC area as a hero. He was one of the strong in the flag. So yeah, they were Costa. So I'm saying my position on this matter with regard to the question you asked is that I'm pushing for a united CDC. And so to do that, I will measure the way I comment on these things because I can't be pushing for that direction. So because look, here's the reality. We'll be facing an incumbent that is consolidating power, not just the political power, but he also consolidates financial power. You see what Bouaka is doing. We need to go to Bouaka in 2029 with everything we have. And that first includes uniting our horse, putting our horse in the order first as CDC, then eventually as the opposition. Other than that, if we go splinter and the generals are all scattered, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I see it as a difficult task. And so we must accept that now. We still have time. I'll allow you the next 1 year to focus on ensuring that people who spend, look, you cannot spend more than 20 years with an institution and say tomorrow morning because you say Bouaka, it means that you 100% truly don't want to be with that institution again. There are issues. And until we get engaged as opposed to expulsion, as opposed to marginalizing, let us sit and discuss. You say, happy in America, yeah, John McCain voted against the Republican Party candidate. They didn't go expel him when they wanted a healthcare bill. He voted. When Trump wanted to repeal it, he voted against the repeal thing. Of course, you see some Republicans sometimes they bash Trump, so vice versa. We must be able to entertain the same. We must be able to take hard criticism. But look, just come an example. The teeth in your mouth and it may fall at time, but you don't go breaking off your mouth, taking out the teeth and removing the tongue. We cannot afford at this time.
Have you learned it?
With the general.
How long will it take you to learn?
So that's my position, you know.
Okay. Let me give you the false comparison you're trying to make here. John McCain, why he voted against legislative bills, he never joined the party, never left his party. You talk about
now for them to remove a certain speaker.
That's correct. And guess what?
But calling power dead. Calling power dead. No, but
you see, you're not getting. You're not letting me.
Let me give you all. Calling power is setting Republican. A minister, a secretary of state endorsed Obama. He was a Republican.
We are not talking about endorsement.
Oh, but what's the difference?
Left his
party. There's a big difference.
No, Fala. No. Look, I don't want to be defending Fala, but Fala was expelled. And Fala said as deputy speaker, he supports the president. As much as I do have problems, I'm just telling you that the option sometimes in dealing with us is not to expel people who you have
Fala spearheaded the removal of a speaker that belongs to his party.
But what's about Costa then I led a draft that Costa is to lose an election later?
But Costa never been
executive of the party.
Yeah, but the point I'm making to you, so your option is you want to get rid of all of that. Eventually, listen to me. Take this from me today. As we proceed to 2029, whether now or in the future, whether 4 months, whether 1 year, CDC will go back and the opposition will go back to make unlikely friends to come in the fold. Because at the end of the day, that's the only way you're going to win, the numbers.
Ahmed.
We agree. But we can make other friends. But Fala betrayed the party, and you have to admit that. I
do not defend Fala. As a matter of fact, let me just say this. I joined the National Executive Committee to expel Fala.
Thank you.
As much as whatever my position was in the Executive Committee, but the fact that the Executive Committee took that action I stand in support of that action because I'm part of that committee.
Right.
All I'm saying to you, I'm
and
not.
I agree to your point, though. I agree to your point.
I am not on a draft looking at the way the way Bwaka is going now. The attempt to come, and let me also say this: every time the Unity Party won us, particularly the second round, they went fishing in CDC. Every time they did it with Eugene, he was Secretary General of CDC. They took him out. You understand me? They took some other people out. Now they come to Fala, who was also the vice for operations. So every time we say, so we now in CDC must sit and think. There is a strategy in UNEPA that always comes for our big guns. It happened before. We must.
But even if we should negotiate, you think Father will be willing to come to CDC?
I think at the end of the day, like I said, the Unity Party would not. Listen, politics sometimes goes beyond will. It comes about interest. Yeah.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Is Fala a man of integrity?
Say that.
Is Fala a man of integrity?
I think Fala shares the same integrity as Musa Belete.
I'm asking you, is Fala a man of integrity?
I just provided my answer.
No, I'm asking you.
But you answer the question the way you want to answer. I'm saying Fala shares the same integrity.
But what do you mean? What do you mean he shared the same integrity as Musa Belete? What do you mean?
Listen, we're not discussing Musa Belete. I'm asking you, does Fala have integrity?
I just provided you. Listen, I gave you a benchmark.
Ahmed.
Gave you a benchmark. I gave you a benchmark.
Let's start the show, man.
Ahmed,
let's start the show, please.
Yeah, the show has started. Let me tell you this.
But I gave you a benchmark.
No, listen to this.
Musa Belete by your definition, integrity. So
Ahmed, I used to be captain of my debate team, so I know when I say pivot.
I'm not trying to pivot.
I'm not going to allow you to pivot. I'm not trying to pivot. I'm going to stick you where you're supposed to be.
I provide you a clear answer. That will help you there. Is that a clear answer?
The man said he will support the president, and he asking all Lofans, because Lofans are going the same way. And next to that was Representative Cully. He came and said the same thing. So, based on what we are seeing here, it tells me one thing.
But the president will not be a citizen competitor in 2029. So if Fala as deputy speaker, as well, I do not agree with him. But if Fala make a political statement, he will support a certain president. But when Fala make that statement, when Fala say I will support the president re-election, and I'm telling you, Fala will not support Joseph Boakai re-election. No. He is the deputy speaker. He wants to make that he's seen Joseph Boakai as change speaker. So he's making that statement. It's political.
Slow down.
It's political.
You are hoping, and hope is not a strategy.
I'm
hoping.
I'm giving you
that Boakai may not run 2029. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
the
Lofa Defense Force is here, and we know who they are.
You say you seem to be a trouble beaker, though. You're a trouble beaker.
It's based in facts.
No, you're a trouble beaker.
It's based in facts.
No.
It's based in facts.
What are the facts?
The fact is that
your deputy speaker, the UNE Liberian are putting serious stand up against Joseph Boakai rather than the Moba Molu in Lofien.
Listen.
Moba Molu is putting a serious against Joseph Boakai. So why don't you want to hear the facts? And it's not empirical. Empirical. The facts are not empirical. Because if Fala on the other side, what's about Jefferson Koji? Jefferson Koji is a Secretary General of CDC. He opposes Boakai.
Listen.
So I'm just
slow down.
I want to resist and reject your bigotry.
You can't. The bigotry is in your group. The bigotry is in your group.
No, bigotry
is in your group. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to bring it out.
There's no
you guys are bigots. I'm going to bring it out.
The current acting chairman of CDC,
the acting chairman,
from Lofa
you guys are all fake. You all are fake. You are fake. Evidence by Salah and Cully.
Boakai is in power.
Okay? You are all fake.
Boakai is in power.
The Lofa connection is fake.
They don't need to
It
be
is
fake.
fake.
They don't need to be fake.
A closer connection
let the
to Nyenwolo, Sakimia, Jefferson
I want to
Cody,
say for you,
the whole group.
you,
It is fake.
it is clear that
You are not loyal to CDC. You are loyal to your tribe.
and I think
And you said it.
you honor my status to even be
Tifa
on the
said
show
it. I
because
want
you
to
are
bring
a
it
trouble
out.
bigotry.
The biggest elephant in the room, you don't want to talk about it. And I'm talking about it. You are bigots.
That's not
You
true.
guys are bigots.
You are a
You are not loyal to your country. You are not loyal to your party. You are loyal to your tribe. That's the truth. Let's move on.
Not been loyal to anything. You're not been loyal. You can't say let's move on. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. The point I'm making that no, you do not qualify to sit on the closing.
Let's move on to the next topic here.
You do not qualify to sit on the closing segment. You are not
loyal to anybody.
All right, guys.
But you are
Guys.
but I guess
nobody wants to tell you. I am telling you.
All right, guys.
Okay, guys.
Let's
move on to what's happening in the country.
move on.
Yes.
Let's move on.
We are talking politics.
Let me tell you.
I'm saying to you,
This is the closing argument.
This is, guys. I'm pleased.
Let's go to the next topics here. The court ruled Thursday.
No, this man does not qualify to even moderate the show.
Let me drink water for you, man.
He's a speaker.
Listen,
No, I don't need to drink water. I'm clear. Okay. But the point I'm making is,
let me go to the next. Can we move to the next topic here?
Just statement from Gilman.
We are moving.
At this point,
we are moving to the next topic.
Let's forget about that. That's
no, but we must call as well. We want to call issue up in the context. We must call issue up on ourselves. A man cannot sit behind the microphone, closely argue a respected institution of this nature, and try to spool or trouble bigotry. It's wrong. It's unacceptable.
Amen.
But I gave 20 years to CDC. The brother, he did it on his own political interest. Not because of that. You understand me?
Listen.
Amen. I reject the false interpretation of people from Lofa who are within CDC.
I got a question for you. Amen.
Yeah, go ahead.
So are you here to defend Fala?
No. I'm here to denounce the bigotry being spooled by Gilman. That's what I'm here to do.
And I'm here to expose the bigotry by your group. I do
not
want to talk about it, but I will tell you.
Part of the
I will tell you.
Fella.
Let me tell you. Okay.
This man is a troublist.
Amen.
This is a troublist. These are, and then he goes to a party that claim that they want to take over. Is that what you're going to take?
Amen.
He's a troublist. It's wrong. It's
I will tell you.
You cannot sit on closely. A platform that is there to deliver growth and continue to stop against it and trouble. People like that, these are people that will kill people because of their trap.
Amen.
They will kill people because of their trap. It's wrong. No, this man is a troublist.
Amen.
This man is a troublist.
You're going too far.
No, but it's true. It's true. I condemn his action.
No.
Amen. I am telling you how I see it. Okay, let's go to the next event here. Let's go to the next topic. Mr. Victor Namwe, we are talking about here.
We don't hear you, Ahmed. So
the court ruled.
Mama, do not mute me. You cannot mention things that are wrong when one wants to counter you. Then you go and mute them. It's wrong. Do not do that.
Listen.
No, do not do that.
The UN Security Council Resolution 1014 recommended that I come and bring peace. So the
no, but Pewee.
Resolution 1014.
It's sure it's not about you and your CDC.
No, it's not about me, but
it's not about CDC.
No, at this point, I don't think you should moderate the show. I think somebody else should take over. But
it's okay. He can still moderate.
No, but if that man will moderate, I don't think something because at the end of the day, he will perpetrate an ideological, idiotic, bigotry behavior I will go too far. I will go too far because I've been a victim of trouble.
No.
Okay, let's go to the next topic here.
I keep telling you, do not mute.
The court
Do not mute.
The court ruled Thursday on bond
It's okay,
justification
Amen. It's okay. It's
in the
okay.
capital arson case
All right.
involving ex-speaker Kofa.
You
Okay,
see, like,
and the headline reads,
you bring a trouble plate up here, right?
the magistrate Ben Barco of the Monrovia City Court
I'll get it ready for you.
have reversed ruling until a reserved ruling until Thursday in the bond justification hearing involving former House Speaker Fonati Kofa and 3 other lawmakers, all charged with arson in connection to the December 2024 fire.
Oh, what can we again? They may working with physical.
Mr. Namwe,
Yes, sir.
this Judge Barco has said again.
I said, what are these coats?
Yeah, I went to get the resolution says we put the budget together to the UN. We need some. We told the UN that we don't think it's gonna be a peacekeeping. It gotta be a peace enforcement.
Yeah, sure. Not Easter tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a peace enforcement, not peacekeeping.
You went for
The folks gotta be paid. So here we are. Magistrate Ben Barco of the Monrovia City Court has reserved ruling until Thursday, which is tomorrow, in the bond justification hearing involving former Speaker Kofa and 3 other involved, all charged with arson in connection to the December 24 fire at the Capitol building. Mr. Namwe, the opposition, the 4 big opposition political parties have come together and they said they need an independent probe because they feel that the police, the justice, whoever are involved, that they are compromised and there are questions that need to be answered, and these questions cannot be answered when those who are suspect, including the police chief, the NSA, and everybody else that are involved. So they are calling for an independent probe, someone that would be totally independent. Your take on the take of the opposition and coming to the aid of the political opposition here.
Yeah, I mean, look, from all indications, this case is being politicized. And Sylvester, welcome. Thanks for coming in and going from peacekeeping to, I think, peace enforcement.
No, peacekeeping to peace enforcement.
No, peace enforcement. I knew you had to go back and bring reinforcement.
No, he went back to get a budget.
We told you anything I got to do with trapper thing or I'll bring silver tantamount to that. It can be peacekeeping. I got to be peace enforcement. Or the place to show that we keep it up.
Just remove the trouble bigotry from the show and make it easier. You gotta separate it down.
But that's why both of you are
but honestly, I will get to that. There was no need for. I don't know how it started. Trust me, but
create a buffer zone. Remove the perpetrator of trouble.
That's what we did. No, we just found out from other international observers that there's no need to resort to that for now. So we can put the both. We have conversation. There's no need to create buffer zone.
Right.
They are not degenerated into area will create buffer zone. So
thank you, Sylvester.
Thank you, Sylvester. We appreciate you.
Ambassador Sylvester Trevor Gordon, someone is good to have you on set.
Yeah. We've been told that the politician himself, he said, but your side, man, you are seasoned diplomat, you know negotiation, so that calm the storm and move forward.
Right. So, but from all indications, I think this case is being politicized. I mean, I don't think it will take a rocket scientist to see what is happening. Bodyguard was taken in a matter of hours, on a $1.6 million. He got a bond. He was out. These people, there are 5 of them. 4 of them were hauled in on a Friday morning. They didn't give them bond, and they ended up spending the weekend in jail. One of them went home. We don't know how her bond was posted, how she is. So, it's being politicized. It's being justice here is being applied selectively. I think these people are compromised. My friend Gregory Coleman, not my friend, but I think my fellow Cotonian, I think he went to Cotton as well. I think his involvement in this case is I guess there might be some Kool-Aid in government when you go in and you drink it. You begin to speak is that governmentese? Is that a language for government? Anyway, so I think the opposition, I support the call of the opposition. I'm glad this morning the investigator, they did an editorial also supporting the call of the opposition. I think it is about time this president should erect a special prosecutor for this matter. I think the people right now who are handling this case are compromised. They've all taken sides. They are in this and pushing the UP line, and this is a legal matter. So yeah, I think they're compromised. This judge is compromised. I think he should remove this case from them, and they need to hold this case pending the erection of the special prosecutor. I think the president should appoint one, and whoever that would be, I think they should handle this case. But right now, as it is, I don't trust any of them who is involved with this case to get him to go into it impartially from their conduct. All of these things they're doing. The bill is what did they say? The bill is something was wrong with it, or whatever it is. I think they're just politicizing the case. So right now, everything they're doing, I think they're just whitewashing. There's one objective in mind to hold Kofa and the rest of them, into jail. But before I pass on, I'm glad to report to you guys. There was a heavy downpour right now. My area is cooling, so I'm very happy. And I think the heat is letting up. But back to you.
Yeah, Sarah, here we are talking about special prosecutor here. You are seeing there was a young man, Yanati, says he was, brought in from Ghana, and he was supposed to be some suspect by Interpol, and a man who was supposed to be a criminal to put him in a luxury hotel, and he stayed there for, he says, close to 10 days or so, living it up, and then he said over 10 top government officials visited him with largesse. So they were talking, they started at $50,000, and went as high as $200,000. And he says while this was happening, he was informing his relatives what was happening. So he had witnesses to this. So the proponents of the evidence now have dawned upon the opposition that, listen, we see what's going on here. It's time for special prosecution, because if this thing continues as it is, all of these people will be found guilty. They will be railroaded. Your thought?
I mean, it's just disappointing, and it just kind of make me feel like, this Joseph Boakai government, if the Liberian people are not careful, this government might likely put our country in nothing but chaos. Because if you have a judiciary system or part of the judiciary that is weaponized by the government, they were successful in removing the speaker illegally, and then come to find out they're behind them again for the burning of the building, not taking into consideration that sometimes people who are actually behind other people for a crime can sometimes be the very perpetrator of those crimes, because we know for a fact that the police from the government were surrounding that building, were in charge of the building when the building got burned, but we didn't see any one of them being investigated. But when they saw these lawmakers being held accountable, and now we have come to this point where they're supposed to go through the due process of law, and they continue to do all kinds of funny things, getting people, trying to bribe them to testify, for them and stuff like that. Where do we go from here? Nobody can trust this system. So I think that the lawmakers are right. We have to find an independent. I mean, and it's also a shame. It's a shame on this government to not be able to prosecute independently a case, for the Liberian people. So where do we go for justice? It's just a disappointment. And to tell you the truth, I'm just so afraid for Liberia at this point. We don't know where this thing is headed. Thank you.
Pewee, we are talking about
Let's go Pewee. I was here before Pewee, then jumping over me.
Oh.
Yeah, go to Amer. He was here before.
Well,
Don't do that. Don't do that, Mr. Jimmy.
Listen, Ahmed, I've been talking. That's why I went to Pew. Pew have not spoken on any issue. You and I have been talking about issues.
But
Okay,
that,
let Ahmed go ahead.
Go ahead.
Ahmed, go ahead. Go ahead.
Pewee, I don't mind succumbing.
Oh, come on. Ahmed, just go ahead.
The behavior in this man.
It's okay. We are all friends here. We are not enemies. You guys can agree. You guys can agree to disagree. That it's part of the
but that disagreement, the attitude is wrong.
It's okay. Go ahead and give your
Ahmed, go ahead.
Yeah, you got to change that, bro. I'm not.
Ahmed, go ahead and make your comment.
We were coming because it has to do with Liberia, but people like you, it becomes difficult for me to tolerate. The truth is that if the call for independent prosecutor in this matter, I think it justifies considering the magnitude, but that could also not be the first time such a thing would happen. Obviously, when situation of this magnitude happen, where at least there is an involvement of the government one way or the other, then you want to separate the referee from the player. It is a new fact that, of course, the police at some point took charge of the Capitol building before the arson attack happened. They are putting them in a situation that could bring into question their own objectivity. So I think setting up an independent probe was just the most logical thing to do. Ellen did it before when there was that attack on the CDC headquarters that resulted in the death of a partisan. Ellen set up an independent probe that led to the recommendation that Mark Amla was finally relieved of his post. Talbot himself did it during the Rest riot when it occurred. I mean, of course, he would have asked the police to have investigated, but look at the magnitude and wondering something. He created an independent body. All over the world, that's what people do to ensure that justice is fair, justice. Because what's the essence of justice if it is not administered in a fair way? And at this point, it becomes difficult for me personally to honestly think that Kofa and others could get a fair trial in a court under investigation by the Liberia National Police, and of course, in a judiciary that has serious influence on the president. So we think that the position of the four political parties is in the right direction. I would hope that it could go beyond that point. I hope that Kofa himself at this point should be having a president request for an independent inquiry into the matter. I mean, even though Cummings did not request for independent, but he brought in an independent investigator, and I think that seriously helped his case. So I think Kofa at this point should not leave himself, even though he's a lawyer, he's an agent of the court and the judicial process. He may want to be a little safer, but what's here now? The case with Kofa will become a landmark for the Republic of Liberia, and so the likes of Kofa should not take a laying down. I would think at this point he should be pushing for a more independent probe, or perhaps be making arrangement for independent investigator to review the evidence that government is bringing, particularly so those recordings, whether they were doctor and all of those things, don't just allow it to be admitted in court and then you go there. If he throw himself to the mercy of that court, I foresee him spending a very good time in jail if he doesn't take steps to push the opposition position in that regard.
Pewee, on the 13th of June, there was something that raised eyebrow in Liberia, and the headline to that particular article was "Discretion or Denial of Right. George Willie will hold approval of bond for Capitol building arson defendants." And it says here, Criminal Code 8, George Roosevelt Willie is yet to approve the criminal appearance bond submitted on behalf of Tom Edrich and several co-defendants accused of setting fire to the Capitol building. It can be recalled that Edrich and others were arrested, detained, and forwarded to court following their alleged involvement in the arson incident. Initially held at the Monrovia City Prison, Central Prison, The defendant were later transferred to Kakata Central Prison. The arrest coincided with the police investigation involving Speaker Kofa. Their bill was legit, but the judge said he used his own discretion, and the folks remain in jail. We see something very similar to what's happening here. Mr. Fadiga spent 3 hours, and they said his bill for $1.6 million was legit. 3 hours he was out. And these people, including Fonati Kofa and the lawmaker, the judge is saying that their bond may be faulted. Is there something fishy going on here, Pewee?
Yeah, I think moving forward, it's a concern that we all should have about. And I'm a little bit concerned about what is unfolding in the country. And this is just the past administration didn't really wish on a lot. They didn't wish on. Let me not say a lot. Let me be very mindful here. The past administration didn't do this. They were very clear in terms of allowing the law, the judiciary to take a course. They didn't weaponize the Ministry of Justice or the judiciary, if you will. They didn't do that. And the judiciary themselves, and there's a separate branch of government, they should not allow government, and that's the essence of check and balances, the separation of power. If you were to allow one side of the three branches to interfere and control your end, there's no need for democracy. The essence of democratization is meant to see check and balances where everyone would play her role, and then the democracy will triumph. And that's the reason why we believe in pluralistic democracy. The essence of the realistic democracy we see today is for us to allow the rule of law to take a course. No one is above the law. Everyone should respect the law. So that's the core of our democracy. So, but to see Josh Wade, if you will, trying to say it is within the judge's discretion, we believe, when one is at the flat rates, if you will. It is within the judge's discretion when the man cannot afford a criminal bond, right? A bond that will value, the surety bond, if you will, that will ensure that he will be reporting to the court during the time of the litigation process. So it is just unfortunate that I'm hearing that those guys are not being granted bail bond because of the judge belief. I hope the executive is not trying to twist these judges to allow them forward within their own thought process. It's unfortunate. So what we have to do is to call on them, and that's nothing we can do. These are individual judges, if you will. They will have to adhere to the rule of the judiciary. They will have to adhere to the core of our laws, that everyone is presumed innocent until proven otherwise guilty. Now, the litigation process evolves a lot of time. It's evolving. So we should give the time for those things to unfold, and then we should not interfere, and no one physically will have to interfere or weaponize certain area to ensure that you punish somebody that probably may just be now guilty, if you will. So the intent, if he is, he came over a guarantee surety bond to ensure that he's out while the case is ongoing, there's no need for the judge to deny that. I mean, yes, it is, as I said, it is within the discretion of the judge in a case where the judge will determine this man has flat race, this man is dangerous. If the person were to be out, they will continue. If that means they will continue doing this, that, and that will take the case sometimes of treason, sometimes of murder, sometimes of attempted murder, wherein the judge will determine that this man is still dangerous if I were to allow him on a bail bond. But I don't think this is the case. This is an awesome case. And is this these individuals, if you will, are they still potentially serving as a danger towards state infrastructure, if you will? So we needed to come to the term of that and understand first and foremost as to how they're now as per what they're going to do tomorrow. Ben Bako, I know Ben Bako is a big brother that I know for a very protracted period of time. I know him to be humble, very straightforward, funny, very entertaining guy, very serious-minded person. He's smart, and so I believe, I don't know if, because Ben Bako assessed this case before as the Monrovia City magistrate, right? He assessed this issue and he saw reason, he saw probable cause for us to go to court. He saw probable cause, and as the magistrate, because that case, the Ansu case, it is not within the jurisdictional authority of the Monrovia Ministerial Court. What the Ministerial Court will do, we will hear the preliminary hearing and we'll see if there's probable cause to advance on this case. And he did that already. So I don't know why the sacred judge is then sending the case back to the magistrate to redetermine or see the validity of the bill bond that was first and foremost certified by himself, Magistrate Ben Bako, and the rest of that. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But I think I hope this time around the magistrate won't be threatening to condemn the same thing he certified yesterday. So that's the fear. The executive increasingly powerful in the country under certain circumstances, and this is wrong. This does not help our country democracy. This does not. The country has been doing well in terms of certifying the democratization process. This country has been doing absolutely good. The credentials been building up, and I don't think Omen Bwaka should be the reason. I think Uncle Joe wouldn't allow himself for his regime to come out and say he came to wish on, and he didn't respect the rule of law, and he allowed judges, arm-twisted judges, to do things outside the realm of the judicial process. This is kind of unfortunate, and I would hope that Fonanti Kofa and the rest of the team, his team, all of the accused, and even all of some of those guys that were accused of being the major perpetrator that were hired via the politicians' resources, should put their acts together and hire the best of the lawyer, and also cry out for free, fair, and transparent trial. There's a right, their right to free, fair, and transparent trial is provided within the criminal justice system of our country. So nobody whatsoever for any political persuasion should manipulate or control or try to subvert the intent of the country democracy. This is quite unfortunate. It is preposterous and it's unacceptable.
Mr. Namwe, the French folk got a work of fait accompli. Okay, it's an established fact. It's looking like it's going that way. The American man would say if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, most likely it's a duck. This thing, from the initial stages where Mr. Edry says, not only I was arrested, but I was tortured. They intimidated me. They have tortured me. In fact, they told me that at some point that they will sodomize me if I didn't say what they wanted me to say. And then you get another young man from Ghana who were brought in. He says, not only did they bring me in by way of Interpol when I was supposed to be a criminal, but I was in a luxury hotel for a length of time. And, all of these, they want me to implicate these folks at a cost. This is what they were going to do for me. And then you find the judges, on the other hand, are saying, we are not going to give you some of the folks bond. And I want to go to the article here. Article 21I of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia states, all accused persons shall be bailable upon sufficient surety. The judge in action had triggered constitutional concerns with legal analysts and human rights advocates questioning whether the delay stems from judicial discretion or constitute or deny or due process and the fundamental right to bail by all Liberian citizens. So, proponents of the evidence, my friend, if these folks do not mount a serious fight, I can tell that they have already been found guilty. It's just going through the process here.
Yeah, I mean, look, most of it, Sylvester actually alluded to it, right? And I would channel one of my best basketballers of the Sixers, Allen Iverson. You know, what are we talking about here? Practice. We're not even talking about the case yet. We're talking about, setting these people up so that they will go and confer with the lawyers from whom and come to court. This is what we're arguing over right now. We haven't even gone to the merits of the case. And it just, to me, is telegraphing to me that this government knows it probably has no case. And, they just fooling around, This bond we're talking about, I mean, they took time to look at it. You're talking about Edwards and other people. They scrutinized the bond and everything before they okayed the bond. And now they're going to tell us, oh, we didn't look at it good, something wrong with it, you can't buy and all that. Foolishness. This is not a child's place. You got these people in government and they think they're going to be there forever. Governments come and go. This is your time. Serve your country well. Stop this nonsense. I read an editorial today of the investigator. There's a litany of things that this guy he put in the paper, and most of it's true. You said some of it. People are in custody. They're torturing them, forcing them, to incriminate, these people, making them to drink urine, offering them bribes and all of this, or with all of this, they still don't have a case. They don't have a case. So all this technicality, give bond, then you revoke the bond, it's intimidated people and all of this thing. Why? This is embarrassment. This is embarrassing. Look, in the early days of this government, where we knew that they would have no respect for the rule of law, and my friend and brother, my Scorpion friend, Bushu Ben Keita, Bushu is a smart lawyer. He had the temerity, the nerve to call the judge who was handling the Prophet Key and Julie Andy case and tell the judge we have an interest in the case. If that is not interference, I don't know what is. So these people are telling us they will stop at nothing. They don't care what the laws are. They will do what they want to do because they can. The arrogance of power that Councilor Gongloe is talking about, this is what is on display here. And so we'll join with the opposition. We think they should remove all these people. Even Coleman said needs to stand down. He's compromised. I stand with the opposition. They need to remove all these people and put in a special prosecutor. We want an impartial investigation. If these people are found guilty on the merits of the case, let them be made to bear the consequence of the law. But all this other foolishness, it's unnecessary. It is wasting our time. It was wasting taxpayers' money. So if they have no case, they should vacate the case and let the people go.
Ahmed, when the judge is threatening those who are on bail constantly in the public eye by saying they are threatening rearrest. In America here, they will say you are trying to keep the negativity in the public space so much as to when you even pick any jury, they will say the guy is guilty because this is all they have heard from the other side, smearing the reputation of these folks without even going to court. So as it is now, should the defendant even ask not only for an independent judiciary or investigator, but should they move the case out of Monrovia?
Well, I think the crime was committed in Monrovia, so I think legally, I'm not too sure whether they could do that. I'm not too sure from a legal point of view whether they could do that. But the point is that a lot of
sorry, what did they do? What? I didn't get that point.
Remove the case from under the jurisdiction, the legal jurisdiction from Montserrado County or Monrovia to perhaps, let's say,
legally they can do that. I shouldn't be, but legally they can do that. So quickly, if it was established that this person wouldn't have a free trial here or whatsoever, or the sentiments there would be very hard and unsafe, the lawyer can pray the judge to reassign the case. It happened, for instance, in the guy that killed, that was involved, because he been sentenced now. I can come out and say killed. The guy that killed the then Liberian journalist, this William guy that killed the journalist at the time, the journalist that got killed in Duporo. Yeah, so for his trial, it was established that the sentence was too high. He was not safe to be tried in Monrovia. So there was an agreement that he be transferred to Tottenborough. So he was transferred to Tottenborough where his trial unfolded in Tottenborough, and the sentencing in DC, now serving his term. Yeah, so if it is established that the person would not have a fair trial yet, or the sentiment is high there, or I think for some other security reason, there can be an agreement. So legally, that is possible.
Yeah, but so I mean, I think what is actually at stake here, in my view, is not the location but the system. If the system is manipulated, you can go to heaven. Say, if these people are made up their mind, and you made a very important point that before hearing the argument on the bill, decision I'm told will be made on Friday, but then you are threatening jail time. I mean, did you do the reasoning perspective? One could say a judgment has already been rendered, because if you tell the man you will go to jail, perhaps you just speaking up what your mind is, and I mean, look, the truth is in Liberia we don't tend to. You can just see something happening and just know exactly where eventually it could likely lead. And there's what I would say. For a period of time, Kofa then will go to jail for some time. That case will not be tried. They will be on it, and then eventually they will just let it go. There will be no evidence, but there will be some payback. We have seen that numerous times in our country. Same Liberian people, same thing. I think the truth is the Capitol building got burned by a group of people. It got burned. It was an accident. We agree. But I think the police did not take its time to put its facts together. There is a possibility that those arrested could be the ones involved. But our law says you are innocent until proven guilty, and not just proven guilty on the basis that you did it, but beyond all reasonable doubt. The evidence must speak louder, if possible, louder than the crime committed. Particularly so if you went for arson and all those charges levied, I'm not too sure at this point. Because sometimes when you charge the person, then those who are legal people now go and sit back and start to review your evidence and know, but this one can't amount to this. This one can't amount to this. This one can't amount to it. Like, so it's like you slap a man, he take the whole day, the next day he die. Perhaps if they charge you for maybe aggravated assault, they could prove that. But they go say they charge you for murder and can't prove it sometimes. So I think that's the situation we have. And then when it becomes political now, as has been suggested and as it appears, my brother, in that Liberia that we know, it becomes difficult to obtain a fair trial. So even you take that case today in Sano or Basso or Grand Crew, I doubt whether justice could be meted out fairly. So, I mean, the government can prove itself. Braga can again consolidate its own legacy by ensuring that this case is adjudicated in a fair way. And the best way to do it is to go the route of an independent prosecutor. Because let's see, as we always say, what's the essence of justice when it's not clear in the minds of even those who are not under the code? Every Liberian must see the result of this case, that justice was served. Because when you do that, you give people confidence in the court. There is a study that suggests today more than 52%, 58 or 52%, that says they don't have any confidence in the court system. So when that becomes the case, people will not waste their time to go to court. You owe me, I either go see something for your. You slap me, I kill you. Those kind of situations happen because of things like this. And that's what's involved in our country. And
Yeah, go ahead. People, we're talking about, the American people go ahead, drip and drop. You keep telling the folks that this guy is a criminal, he's a criminal, he's a criminal, he's a criminal. You pound it until almost everybody, when they see you without evidence, they start running from you because that's what people say you are. Now let's look at the CDC headquarters, right? The government went and got a fake bond. They agreed, the police agreed that the bond was not signed by a judge, but the judge secretary. And that alone should have, in any other civilized country, it would have signaled a red flag that we are headed the wrong way. We have not heard anything, and it's just a drip, drop. So, like Ahmed said, if you were doing deductive reasoning, you can already sit there and say, you know what? We've seen this movie before. We know how it's going to end. It doesn't look good for us. It doesn't look good for our democracy. I don't know what to say, but everything points towards if we don't rise up. I don't want to quote the late door, but this town trap that people are taking lightly. It may not want to be for Kofa. It may be for Ahmed. It may be for you. It may be for Victor. It may be for myself. If we don't say anything, we just let it slide. So
my uncle will set trap for me too.
But who you do usually set a trap in the town? Either grandma, grandpa, uncle, or cousin. Pewee. They trap, Mr. Pewee, you're a diplomat. We know they trap that is coming here.
But Pewee uncle too.
Yeah, I know. That's why you think I'm talking to him. They try here. Look at Pewee got something to him out. I don't apply the rope. So here we are. This thing, Pewee, it doesn't look good for us.
No, it doesn't. And Abner said something that is always, and see, the more violent. These are some of the reasons that trigger and give rise to more violence in the country. It doesn't look good on a serious note. You saw the last time when there's a problem in the country, even when it's an accident, where sometimes it just occur, it's not intentional. Folks will move immediately, bring gas and other things, put on truck and just, and so because they believe that if they were to go and sometimes see some of those guys in the truck, the big truck will run in a more reckless way and they damage lives, right? And the folks will just move. And then immediately respond by putting gasoline, other things, or even they cut someone involved in theft or other things. They just move immediately and set the person at blaze, right? In other areas, it's a wide range of level of mob violence, even at the level of folks moving on police stations. So the respect for the rule of law is deeply on the mind. And how can you redeem the issue of regaining the confidence and respect of the people? Is by allowing the judiciary to play, to allow the court to have the power to operate independently. That's the way to do it. But if you start to, for instance, the criminal justice system is there's three components of the criminal justice system. You have the police, you have the court, and you have the correction system, the Bureau of Corrections, the Bureau of Correction and Rehabilitation, if you will. That's the last component of the criminal justice system. Will start with the police, and that's the reason why folks are not accusing. Certain folks are not accusing the police chief, right? Saying he's a partisan police chief. It's wrong. You cannot, because the criminal justice system will start with the police. The police will arrest. They charge. So you have to, if you now want to be partisan oriented, and if you arrest, before you charge, those charges will be a trump-up charges. It will be politically motivated. If there's a motivation on the charges, and then the sentiment will go, because every political motivated charge cannot win in an independent court. No. So those components of our criminal justice system have to be very respected and allow them to operate, right? So if we cannot do that, And we want to allow the system to just operate the way, and people believe that if we are in power today, we, part of this Bouaka administration, we have to determine who will go to jail and who will go out of jail, who cannot go to jail. If you did that, that is tantamount to undermining the criminal justice system. If you undermine the criminal justice system, you undermine democracy. And if you undermine democracy, is a sine qua non for us having a collective society that will respect the rule of law. It's a serious evidence. One of the major fulcrum of democracy is the rule of law. Yeah, and that's why in the most powerful country on earth, the great United States of America, they say everyone must respect the law. Nobody is above the law. And that's part of the reason why sometimes if you saw a lawmaker or former leader, elected officials here, sometimes if they even breach traffic violated the traffic, police will pull. There was a time one of the of the city of PA Philadelphia were pulled. I think he came from one of the city council meetings and he was driving, weaving off the road, and the police behind him observed that something was not right. They pulled him over. He went through a process. They knew that he had some alcohol in his system. He was handcuffed right there. And that evening news, right, reported he was handcuffed. And the next day, something up, and they found out that, hey, the man will be, the single ordinary man will be on DUI. He will be on DUI. That is the essence of what they say. Everyone must respect the law. Now, if we would say, for instance, I'm critical of Mr. Bouaka. If I'm in Liberia, committed a crime, he arrests me, I should go straight to jail. That's what I am. I am protected by having a bill bond. But I should go to jail because I am a man that is against the regime. Or if I'm one of those protégés of Bouaka or a surrogate, if I were to commit a crime, no, I can't go to jail because I'm a surrogate of the president. It's not going to help the country. And they may enjoy it now. It may not be this year or next year. They may start getting some punishment soon that may hamper their chances of winning elections. So Mr. Bouaka himself, we have to ensure. So it's a very serious thing that we have to talk about, and not only talk about it on a cosmetic basis. We have to talk about it in a more detailed form and start to find a way forward. Now, all of the opposition will have to come together and muster the courage to fight against this. If they don't do it, trust me, if they don't do this now at this time, try to muster the courage and build serious defense posture. Trust me, the election will not only be rigged, but they will rig the elections and they will put most of them in jail before the elections are held. So that is it. So everybody will have to be firm on this. And yesterday, quickly, I will end here. I listened yesterday to Mr. Benita. He said something very profound, that this process about he engaging into the politics of the country is not only based, it's not hinged on he doing his business. He's prepared to get into this, even if he will compromise his business. And that's what folks will have to do. Folks will have to be very determined, intentional. That's the word I was looking for to do. Folks will have to be intentional to move to do this thing. And if we don't do this at this time, trust me, those guys will not only play with us, but they will suffer us too much. And they will send those that are depending on us to talk for them, to be the voice or reasoning, where ourselves be subjected to this kind of a unacceptable, kind of unfortunate things that are unfolding in the country. So it's a serious thing that we all should take seriously.
Pewee, Mr. Gamer, I just wanted to emphasize a point Pewee made, and I think we don't emphasize that enough. You draw you drew a comparison to the rule of law under the George Weah administration. I think with all of the challenges, I sometimes myself as an executive citizen do highlight in our mischances. I think that is something very profound. I think we are, regardless of everything, was really very much effective and cognizant of maintaining the rule of law. Perhaps the police was not, arresting people who have motorbike people on the street, but I think he really respected that part of that judiciary part of government. There wasn't that interference. Of course, everybody will have political influence, wanting this interest, but I think he was moderate and respectful of the process, and I think that is why now the way Bouaka is doing it becomes so alarming to people, because for a very long, even Ellie herself did not defend herself the presidency on the rule of law, on the judiciary, as we see Bwaka is doing, as Mr. Nangwe mentioned. The legal advisor, I mean, without anything, would pick up his telephone and call a judge, say, look, we get interest in that case. As minimal as the case was, just imagine, as minimal as the case was, a civil matter between two people who, one person started, as minimal as that was, the political affairs, legal module. Then what's about serious capital cases where the government think is political capital is on the line? And I think that's something we need to give the WIA's administration serious credit for, because now that we see it being eroded on Bwaka to the extent where we don't know where our country going when it comes to, you know, the rule of law. The Supreme Court is over. And just to conclude on this, there is a celebration around and Bwaka is suspending his official, sacking them for corruption. We welcome that, but let me tell you the catch behind it. Bwaka is setting up a trap to start to go after former government officials. In the next few days, when a new Chief Justice is announced, who will redirect the orientation mentality of the court, weaponize it, there will be an open, serious attack of office. Now, the argument wouldn't be, the narrative they try to project is he is going after his own people, and so it cannot be a political witch hunt. That is it. That's something that is about to unfold in the country. But tomorrow, day after tomorrow, there will be a few other names he will throw here and there. But his ultimate catch is to ensure now, where all these things going for those of us who are in politics, it only goes back to where we say consolidation of power. Bwaka is a replica of the Todman era period. These are people who know how to quietly keep power. Todman kept that country quiet for 27 years. Soon as he let Toba King there before radicals came up, he wasn't using force, but he consolidated power in all kinds of ways. That's exactly what Bwaka is doing. Like I said, we welcome people who, if they're in corruption, welcome. But I'm telling you, the fight against corruption has been weaponized, and you mark on war for today. In the next few weeks, that country will be in noise again.
Yeah, let me come in quickly. Yeah.
Sarah, real quick before you come
in.
Real
quick. And that's the same intel I got, and this is the reason why most of the suspension that Bwaka is doing. No, I mean we've gotten no results. Noka was suspended. The lady from Noka was suspended. The lady from NAFTA was suspended. The attending position people were suspended. No results, because these things are used. And then recently the LTA guy and stuff like that. So just like Ahmed said, they just want to set a precedent to say, oh, we are going after these people. But the main thing there is they want to go after opposition. But then the irony is you are suspending your people. We're not getting no results. We're not getting no investigation whatsoever is going on. We don't know nobody is indicted. Nobody's going to court. Nobody's behind bars. But you want to go after, they're going to go after opposition to try to, put them to court, go and put, stuff like that, just to kind of distract the Liberian people. So we all have to be on their alert, because this is the strategy. And that information is already among a lot of Liberians that are discussing that. The whole thing about fighting corruption is fake. It's lie. He's not actually fighting corruption. He's trying to put a face. He's trying to put a lipstick on the pig. But the pig is still, the pig is still a pig, even though it has a lipstick on, but it's still a pig. This is what he's doing.
Pewee, I was in a chat room where someone said this whole setup here is to kill 5 birds with 1 stone. The Bwaka administration want to convict these folks and then use that to say they are convicted felons. They shouldn't serve in the House. What the Constitution say about convicted felons serving in Congress or as sitting legislators, right? If the Bwaka court, we're going to call it the Bwaka court because he's running the court, if they manage to find these guys all guilty, we did tell them, well, you guys are felons, you can't serve. Is there a law for that? But I'm hearing it was in a chat room. And I said I was going to talk to some legal minds, but this is something serious.
Yeah, it is serious. But yeah, there's a law for tornado, and that's one of the reasons why at the time the former defense minister of Liberia, Honor Madam Eden Justin Saliv, Brandon Samukai, didn't take on his seat as senator-elect of Lofa County, my own county. Minister Samukai won the senatorial seat in Lofa at the time, but he did not go on to take the seat because he was convicted as a federal in the case against versus Samukai and others versus the government of the Republic of Liberia. Yes, that is that. And the only reason why he can now basically recontest any elections in the country is that the former president of our country was very magnanimous. President, we are magnanimous to give him a full pardon. President granted him, pardon him, and restoring all of his civil rights and the rest of that. So yeah, if you are convicted as a felon, yeah, you should not be, and that is the side of our laws. You cannot have the right, you cannot vote, and you cannot be voted for. So that is it. You cannot vote and you cannot be voted for. That it is part of the law. We can change the part of that side of the law. Yeah, it is. But that should be on the basis of you committing a crime, right? Now there's this legal philosopher that said before, and great philosopher of all time, even some of them when they philosophize, one of the things they always come to agree to here is it is better for a man that committed a crime to go free, scot-free. And let me re-emphasize here. It is better for a man that committed a crime to go scot-free than for you to put an innocent person in jail, right? So that's the intent of the law. The law says, and the reason why the law says those people will not contest or cannot vote or cannot be voted for because you are innocent. So, but you should not manipulate the case against them to indict or carry an innocent person and punish them that way for lifetime. So it's wrong. So you imagine what you're doing there. So that's one of the reasons why it will have to be, and that was the justice system should be blind. And that's the reason why we have to collectively as a country mobilize ourselves to understand the hard reality here, my brother. Other than that, one group of people, and we didn't fight a dangerous 7 years, or then it went on again for another almost total of over 14 years of civil crisis. We didn't fight that because we just wanted to go and hit each other. No. The reason why the Civil War came, you are old enough that are due to understand basically, but history taught us. The reason why the Civil War came, it was because of marginalization. Because certain group of people were marginalized. Even the reason why the coup came before the Civil War, part of the justification given by those junta officers that then dethroned Tobo administration, the main reason they gave was marginalization and corruption. That was the reason. And they themselves came. They were more corrupt than those people. And they started marginalizing certain group of people. The Guar and Emmanuel people felt marginalized. Other sector in the country, people felt marginalized. And all the things start to happen. And that's the reason why they need buy-ins. Open up. They say, oh, come. We'll use our country to launch war on this government. So I was just going to call on these people to stop these things. It's not good. But one group of people believe that they're being hit. It may not be a civil war, but they will form other means to undermine the security of the country. It's not a good thing. So the government, and that's the reason why the president took oath to protect the sovereign ground of the country. Within the better word of our country, the president took oath to protect the country. And by that, you have to ensure that the rule of law is adhered to. If you don't want to do that, if you want to start to be selective, giving sugar daddy deal to certain people that won't go to jail, and certain people will go to jail, there will be a time someone will get tired and something start unfolding in the country that may not be good for us. And then you as the leader now will come and say this leader was not only a weak leader, but you're very incompetent. I don't think our uncle want to be called that way. Even the next 30, 40 years, even when he should have gone to his ancestors. He don't want to see that. His grandchildren will be reminded that your grandfather was a very incompetent president. He was a president that did this, that did that, that did this. So that's the case. And that's one of the reasons why I think, George, we are very inclined to understand that, hey, we all will have our differences, but the rule of law will have to play out. And I think he respected the rule of law. And it's one of the reasons why you saw democracy triumph and our democratic credentials improve under his leadership a lot. There were some isolated issues, yes, but from the general scale, if I were to scale him up, he allowed the rule of law to unfold. And that's the reason why, that's why I thought Mr. Boubacar had been around for almost 5 decades in terms of public governance. He himself will want to practice those things and ensure that people will go to court and yet the court do it, not people politically taking from telephonically and instructing judges or instructing magistrates to see a bill bond and value A or due value kind of thing. We need to deflate those kind of a way of doing things and reassess the proper way of doing it in order to govern our country.
Mr. Nambe.
We are making our off-screen fun today. Too much.
Hannah.
Don't listen to that man. Don't listen to Lofa man. Don't listen to him.
The Lofa man won't bring official idea.
They can't do with all the Southeast people, but they just let to talk against all Southeast people. And he says so.
Let us get my plea. Don't go too far with it.
No, I on a case today.
But one more compliment, you now go to suck. I you know what I will put so in fact the way you look like a loaf.
You see, now your auntie, now your niece, now your cousin. Victor, if you wanted to gut the opposition, what a way to do it, to take top 5 or 6 of them, find them guilty. You like Abu was saying in a comment maybe a little over a month ago, he says we got the Senate. We have wrestled the House. He said at the end of June, we are going to control the legislative, the judiciary. We appoint a Chief Justice, and the opposition will be on the run. That's why he wrote in the comment section.
Okay.
So this is an established thing within that group that this is
what they're discussing.
This is what they're going to do. So here we are. You take. And we are not, listen, when you want to teach somebody a lesson, like we used to say, the old people used to say, what way to do it than this former speaker? And in addition, they are not going to go for the former speaker, they may even go for the former president. This is where I see this going. If you're going to take 5 of the people from the opposition, right? You are talking about the top 5 for the Kofa speaker, all the other, Ahmed knows them, their positions, they're very vocal, they're very powerful, and you decapitate the political party. This is a planned strategy here.
Yeah, that's the whole the strategy for street fight. You take out the biggest guy among the group. Once you knock them out, you knock him or knock her out. The rest of the fellows, they will begin to scuttle and run over. But and I think it was Sylvester who mentioned what Honorable Musa ability said yesterday. And I think it is to start now, not to wait until 2028 or 29, and then you begin to prepare, to challenge these people, because then they would have been, deeply, entrenched. I think it's to now to begin to challenge, their violations of the law and make sure that we bring them back on course. It's quite evident. You already said some of the tactics they are employing. Some are even verbalizing. I read a quote. The write-up that Abu wrote here, and I think we responded to it. But yeah, he's not saying it, out of a vacuum. I'm sure he heard it somewhere, and we've seen it in play. So Musa had indicated that, the opposition. I'm happy that as tenors as the opposition may be, But there's some kind of coming together of the opposition, and I hope they will bring in other people. This is not coalition; it's just a matter of, pooling and growing a number, because we know there is strength in number. Of late, we've seen 4 being most prominently, featured in the news. But we hope other parties will join in. They will join the ANC, they will join the CDC, they will join the MOVE and join the CMC, because we're stronger together. I think these people have demonstrated that, we can't trust them to leave them to their own devices. We have to continue to make sure we moderate them. We have to call them out. I think that's the best way for us. We have indicated in the CMC that we will not allow them to do anything to try to steal the elections. We know, I think the elections commissioner, they've already intimidated her once. She now knows that they can play around with her. I'm not sure. I think her tenure is coming up soon. So yes, I think Abu was right. I mean, they have everything now. They have the executive, the judiciary, the legislature. I think they're now moving on to the integrity institutions. So I think all Liberians should really be concerned about this and pay attention, and make sure that we make these people obey the law. We're not going to ask them to do anything extra. We're just going to ask them and make them follow the law. The law is the law. You have to operate. Look, it is in their interest for the law to function. I think Sylvester mentioned that. Otherwise, you have chaos. You don't want a chaotic, country, and it will make it will make it difficult and make it ungovernable. You want law and order, and you want us to be able to trust the legal system. We should bring our matters to court and not try to settle our matters, by ourselves, because we have no trust in the judicial system to deliver. So I think it works for them. So all of this they're doing, I think they're actually shooting themselves in the leg, and we will. We're not going to let them. We're not going to sit down and allow them. I think for too long we've allowed them to get away and do whatever they want. But I think, it's about time we all come together. All of the opposition community, I will urge all my brothers and sisters in the opposition community. Opposition is not a crime. It's not a sin. I just disagree with you on your methodology. I don't think anybody should be ashamed of that. This government has done too many things in the wrong way, and I think we need to let them know, and we need to oppose them. We need to bring them back on track. They need to operate within the confines of the law. That's all we're asking, and we'll make them.
Sarah, we are talking about a president who grew up in, like Ahmed said, grew up into the Totman era. And you are from Kepamas, you're from Maryland County, so you know what I'm talking about.
I'm from River G, please.
Oh, well, River G, when River G became River G, that recently your 2 pieces of Maryland, piece of Sino, you made River G.
Okay, and that's
when it comes to
for history's sake, not piece of Maryland, piece of Sino, it's a piece of Grand G there.
Oh, Grand G, there you go. You 2 pieces of Grand G.
River G?
Yeah,
River G are part of Grand G there. Yeah. It was Charles Gange, the black man did that.
You know the road there, so let's proceed.
But anyhow, here we are. We're having a president and administration that is intimidating. I think it was one of the United Party person who said it on one of their shows that they can't wait to appoint a new NEC, the new Election Commission. So that, according to the Cloud Reloader and the folks, that's the last chip that will fall. Okay. Then, like Ahmed is saying, they are consolidating complete power. They're going to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner. They are going to decide what the law is. They're going to interpret the law. They're going to enforce the law, and then they're going to enforce the election. They decide who wins. Wow. So this is what is playing here. They started off in Bomi when those people got shot and killed. They said somebody was within the protest area that had a gun, something that looks like a gun, and they killed people. Then later on came and compensated the folks. These are the kind of intimidating tactics from the old school. And by me, Ahmed is here, Pewee is here, Victor is here. This is a playbook from the Jim Crow era in the South, the Deep South. This is what it did in the Jim Crow era.
Mr. Gilman, the only thing I have to say, it will be a sad mistake. It will be a sad mistake for this worker President Barker to do that, or for him to allow his government to do that. It will be a very sad mistake, because they have to know that the country is divided in the middle. Okay, they won election almost just less than maybe 1% or so. The country is divided. Everybody cannot be on their side. So for him to come up, or for them to allow themselves to do that, that would be a very sad mistake. And trust me, we do not want our country to go back in chaos. Okay? If they want to remain in power, let them respect the laws, do what they need to do, what all of the promises that they promised the Liberian people that they're going to do. The Liberian people will overwhelmingly vote for them. But if they try to weaponize everything, they will be making a sad mistake, because the cup will get full. And when the cup gets full, people will react. The country will be chaotic. There are a lot of people, they're in power. They got all the resources and things. But there are people in opposition outside of the country that could pull some strings from other sources. So we want our country to be peaceful. I think they will be making a sad mistake. I see all that they're doing, and we've been getting all of the intelligence, from most of these things they own, and we ourselves can see where they're heading. And if they feel that because they're in power, we was in power, he didn't weaponize these things to against his opponent. He did not, because our country is a country of democracy. Our laws are there. The government of the day has to respect the laws. He went ahead and did that. And when time came, his government did not perform up to standard, he was removed. So what made them feel now that they're supposed to be the almighty, that they're supposed to be doing all of these things to the Liberian people? It's going to be very, very wrong for President Barker to do that. And I hope even the very judge that they're planning to put over there, all of these heads of the judiciary that they're trying to weaponize, these are people who have brain on their shoulder. I hope they will think for themselves, and they will put the country, the interest of the country first, instead of alliance to government. Because at the end of the day, history with the Liberian people will blame them if anything go bad in our country. We all are watching. If you are a judge, or whoever you are, and a case come before you and you want to be partisan about it, Liberian people are watching. If you put our country in chaos, Liberian people are watching. So these are sound-minded people I want to believe, and I think they better, and I hope they will do the right thing for the Liberian people, regardless of politics. Thank you.
Jerome, give me 5 seconds, please.
Yes,
let me talk to this Joma Jala. He's comes here and trolls all day. Foolishness like this is talking. Nobody is talking about brutality here, my brother. If you want to bring up brutality here, you go back to your rebel attitude and sit there. Nobody's talking about brutality here. Don't come here and talk about brutal resistance. You understand me? We see brutality in the streets every day in Liberia. What has that done for you people?
No man,
this kind of talk is silly and stupid. Don't come on here and bring your nonsense here. Nobody's talking about brutality. If you got nothing to offer, get your ass from here and go sit down.
The show is fire, but
get your ass from here and go sit down. Don't come here and talk about brutality. You are the kind who is derailing this government. You don't love this government. You're talking nonsense. Nobody's talking here about brutality. We're talking about civil disobedience. You're talking about brutality. So you missed the boat. You better go and tell
Joma Jala is on the Joma Jala is laying now in America and being paid to be on the press.
No, he just really got on my nerve. Nobody's talking about brutality
here.
People are being brutalized every day without doing nothing. You still talking about brutality. You're not tired with brutality. You think that's why we're talking here?
No mind.
I just been instructed that my resolution had to be amended to 10-11.
I just wanted to pivot a little bit else on the same thing, but with different people that we need to hold responsible. I think also the opposition lawmakers. I know that there's the presidency have sent his tentacles there. They may not be able to influence, but I think they need to establish their position and their ground. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it gives the citizens some hope. It gives the citizens the courage to even want to say, look, we can resist it. If they see some of their leaders standing up. For example, Yan Twan, even though it was the ruling party, but he just wrote a letter resisting the amendment to Metas T. It became a whole conversation over the country. To the people of Nima, they saw a senator standing up. I'm just saying, if 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, they may not be able to change the decision of the Senate. They may not be able to change the decision of the House because, of course, those places are headed by Boaka's stooges. But at least the position will be known. Where they stand on this issue will be clear. And what happens? What that does is that it gave the citizens the courage that they themselves can join in standing for something. You understand? But unfortunately, for example, yesterday we were discussing about a law that Chingapore that just passed, whether bad or good. We don't know where the opposition lawmakers stood in that direction.
Is that a law for the decentralization of the port?
Yes. So we don't know. Then many other things. So all we are saying, this fight to resist Boaka encroachment on power must also be fought and led by people in the House of Representatives.
The guys are sold out already. They're sold out.
They may not be able. Maybe when you want to speak, you may not recognize. Of course, Boaka already gave you instruction. Of course, on the cool side, he's a regime speaker already. He may throw you out, but at least in a minimum, people will understand. Kofa respect today in the country was not because he was speaker, but because he stood his ground. I believe that look, let the decision to remove him be established through the court, and he went to the court. That was why that defined who Kofa is.
Yeah.
Because he's from a very small county, less than 10,000 people voted him. But today he became a symbol of judicial upholding the rule of law. So I think I have to emphasize that as much as we now think that Boaka should do the right thing, but we need to call on our people who are opposition lawmakers to also at least be defined by something. We can't just give them a free slack. So then we need to focus on them. When there are things in the country, we need to ask where they stand, what are they saying? They don't even call press conference as a team. There have not been any letter like, okay, look, let's do this resolution, either with 5 or so, but let's put it up there. Let the
But Siddiqui, let me just hold you right there. Let me just hold you right there, Siddiqui. We currently have a regime speaker. You can remember when they were going through that fight with Kofa, they held their salary. They didn't give their salary. They held a lot of benefits from them. So these lawmakers are afraid that if they stand against their government or they stand against whatever law that will come about, they will do the same thing to them and nothing will come from it. We saw even people that were on Kofa camp moving from there to go on the other side because someone said they were broke. They didn't have money. The people seized their salary. What do you do in a situation like that? These people at certain point become helpless.
Well, if we want the citizen to stand up, it must start by the leaders. That sacrifice will be made at some point in time.
If the leaders don't make the sacrifice, what do you do?
Well, then it means that we are giving a tacit endorsement to what Boaka is doing. We
the citizens now will have to stand for ourselves.
We are saying to Boaka that look, my man, it's my salary, then forget it. You're like in fact, I want to pass is that you might not even roll again. Would you crown you king? Bring it, will crown you king. That's what it says. When people elect you, they say you. How many times our lawmakers go in our play and just do and then build that benefit the people? The least they can do is what they say, what they stand up for. Look, let me tell you something. If consistently these guys stand their ground, from the Senate to they form an opposition caucus in their numbers, where they focus on issues from that perspective, they may not be able to achieve all of it, but at least that will be right. So for example, you go to the court, even though they say 5 men, they are 5. One person disagree and say opinion. Yeah, it doesn't change it, but that become registered that there was a dissenting opinion and it goes in history. We think they need to do that.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Is President Weah the leader of the opposition?
I would say yes, considering that he has the biggest political party. Secondly, a former president, he's the only president in the opposition that has been president before, so with a lot of experience. Then also, I think he is the head, the de facto head of the opposition, for lack of better description.
Pewee, if Weah is the leader of the opposition party, the bigger opposition party, I think Garguah looks at him as a paper tiger.
I will, yeah, because listen, so sometimes if you are, because when the leg of the Boakai and the Unity Party found themselves in opposition at the time, they were very combative. They were not only combative, but they were sinister in most of the things they did. Very sinister. In undermining the very peace of the country, portraying the country to be a kind of a dangerous zone. Unless we don't want to do that. It's a nationalist. He's a patriotic person, probably in his thought process. In everyone, he said, hey, that's not the way to go about it. We will have to engage the government constructively and do it this way. So he'll be seen as a paper tiger, if you will, or toothless bulldog. Have you seen the fear of the bulldog? You see very ugly coming very from distance. But when there's no teeth, the more you go close to it, he's a guy, they can bite, right? A toothless bulldog, right? So that's the case. To have a bulldog that can bite, but very huge. Even another day or 2 years,
so you pet it a lot, right?
Yeah, toothless bulldog. So that's it.
No, but Pewee, to be honest, we are never really been. He's not a Kofa type of person. I think.
Yeah, so
that today, even all along in his political life, we are not been a person who, whenever I remember, and let me just give this story real quickly and leave. I remember there was a time when I'm sure you heard about the early step down campaign. Mm-hmm. It was being launched by the city's officials in CDC, George Solo and
Moba
Molu. So it was taking serious root. It was really strong. And we are coming. His fear was that if he had Ellen to step down, it creates some imbalance. It has the potential in his definition to create chaos in the country coming from war. We don't need to have Ellen to step down. We just need to work hard to go to the elections and win. So I get that story to say that I think he's more of a person who always think that, this man has been international peace ambassador, UN ambassador. So I think he always more focus also on that image. But of course, at this point, and I agree with you, at this point in time, even a bulldog can put small T also turn out the boy, and I think he needs to do that at this point in time. Because what we're dealing with now is abnormal.
Yeah.
And so if he can't boy, let him scratch.
Exactly. And there where I will conclude. So it's part of the reason why the opposition Sana is leaving the CDC in my thought process. And there's a new sheriff in town. And that sheriff is trying to come. And you listening how you're progressive and aggressive yesterday. Aggressive, not in a bad connotation, but to be a kind of a opposition figure now in this new dispensation we have. You listen. You cannot be a kind of a romantic or to romanticize those kind of political things. You have to be. I see. That's one of the reasons why Mr. Ability and the CMC are more progressive, and that's the kind of meeting you need to do. Go to tell people what is unfolding in the country. Say this what happened, because the people want to believe and want to see you to be the giant that you can trust on a serious note. Honoring that, no, if you beat that bulldog, you see that whatever, there's nothing I won't unfold. There's some advertisement you can see on TV nowadays. There's this security frame something you can do. You see the two German Shepherd dog. They're there and on the ADT, right? You see them. The other one said, they didn't know that the camera have to capture the road before they came to the set. Then the two dogs telling each other, but I was on a threat, right?
Do they even know we're here?
Yes.
So, but Sylvester, to your point, right? And
yeah.
I hope you don't mind me bugging in. Look, opposition is not a part-time engagement. It's a full-time engagement. And that's one of the problems I have with the CPP, and I supported Alex and the CPP. You cannot be selective on what issues you want to lift. If something, and this is, I think it was Sarah yesterday or Susan, who gives some credit to the CMC. We make sure when it is happening, we are addressing it, we're calling the public's attention. That is part of the opposition. And this is Mr. Weir's problem that I also have with him. You can't be in the opposition and be a benevolent opposition. You know, you want to be nice and all that. No, you don't have to be disrespectful, but you have to call them out, and you have to do that consistently. You have to be consistently engaged, and that's what we were doing in CMC. We will continue to highlight the issues because our people, we quick to forget and move on to the next story. We're quick to forget and move on to the next story. We have to make sure to highlight, this government pitfalls, and there are a lot of them. So the president, yes, he does have a very, very considerable power and following in the opposition community. We do the best we can to collaborate with the CEC when we have to. But if he cannot step up to the plate, we will, and the people will decide whether he continues to be the most powerful or somebody else will be. We're not looking to to undo him. That is not a competition, but we want collaboratively. We want to let this government know that we're here. We're not going to let them just get a free ride and do everything they want. The president removed the speaker. We all know illegally, and we're moving on. Congo is running all over the place because we let them. So as an opposition community, we have to hold together. We're not going to fight and come talk about first among equal. The people decide that. We will do that by our deeds. So I just wanted to put that in there. In the CMC, we're not relaxed. We're going to engage the press. We're going to engage the space. We are not going to abdicate because water fills vacuum. If you don't act, the other people will fill the space. And the UP people, they will fill the space for you. We don't want that. We're not going to let that happen. We won't.
Gentlemen, we've got to close, but let me say this here, Ahmed. For a man with such an international status that could bring the heat, okay, because every government, the last thing they want is to look bad on the international scene. And George Weah putting himself on the front line to defend the people and have Joseph Walker handcuff him or arrest him. Those are things that I don't think anybody wants to see around the world that they are doing. But George Weah is muted. All his close lieutenants, his speaker, is being dragged. Most likely 6 of his lieutenants are going to jail falsely. And no alarm at all. Not even in the country, forget about the internet, because if President Weah picks up the phone and calls CNN or call anybody, he called me, I'm going to definitely put him in line with MSNBC. But nothing.
Let me tell you, Mr. Government President, we did speak about this whole speaker saga. He might not have said it the way how you want it, or because you're talking about he being allowed and all that, but he did talk about it. He did frown on it. He did speak against it.
If I can remember it, then
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
No, well, Sarah, let me put them on. Hang on, man. Sarah, I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you.
Victor,
but let me just say this. I'll give it back. Okay, go ahead.
My point here is the things that are being done by this government is affecting everyone, not only citizens.
Correct.
Okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be George. We have to be the loudest over here. All opposition members, including the foot soldiers of Unity Party, they are all affected by the governance system of this that is going on currently. So we all have to consolidate. It doesn't necessarily have to be one person. We sat down here. People talk. They say CDC was this, CDC was that. Now CDC is not in power. They're seeing people who were talking for CDC to not be in power. Are they seeing people who want to see seditions in the street so that they can be killed by Joseph Workers or police? Then they say, oh, the CDC is strong. That's not how it works. The situation that is going on right now affects everybody. CDC is not going to be the only opposition that's going to be in the street. It has to be a consolidated effort by all opposition members. And we are there to speak against it.
And so now, let me just summarize the thing for Sarah. Beg you, just 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
To be honest with you, as much as we all want the former president to be a bulldog, but we must accept and recognize that he is not a statesman, a former president. The way he would have approached it as an opposition political leader is different from being a former president. We see it all the time in America. Yeah, how many Trump with all of what he did? How many times did Obama came to attack him? So sometimes when you are served the office, only require that you come out with some grace, some form of dignity. You can't do it like the way perhaps the way Musa would do it. Come on closing argument, engage, talk. We cannot do that. He's a former president, he's a statesman. He was carrying serious weight. So I think sometimes we should give him the slack and accept that he will give press releases. He will join with the opposition community.
My dear brother Ahmed, I'm not even going to let you learn. I totally disagree with you. Look, let me tell you this. If the opposition way is too dirty for the president, let him give it up. Let somebody.
So are you denying the fact that when you have served as president, I agree opposition there, but when you have not served in that capacity, let's take Ellie. Ellie is a very outspoken person before she became president. She was talking about let up when the marshal, let she was doing all of those things. But when Ellie left power, she barely spoke, except when she will go to an event and that gave a statement briefly and then left with the country to interpret what she meant. I'm just saying,
I agree with you. Look, there are instances, for instance, when the country was bidding for the UNC, yes, the president could have come in as a former statesman. I agree. But if he's going to be encumbered by the fact that he's being a former statesman, then let him lead the opposition business and leave it to us. He's not ready for it.
Because
he has a responsibility as a leader of the opposition.
What do you mean, my leader opposition business and leave it where you are?
Okay, guys, listen. Let me put this in.
We are opposition.
No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. Pewee, the former president of Ghana, Mahatma was very, very vocal.
Everybody can be the same.
There you go. Now
everybody can be the same.
You are vocal on wedding.
Listen, this man. Listen. At the rate we're going, there is no opposition because you say everybody should be. There has to be an arrowhead.
Okay,
the president wants students to get dirty.
No. I didn't say that. I'm saying.
I know you didn't say that, but that's what you're implying.
No. I'm saying the president will not be on talk shows. The president must give statement that is reflective of the position he wants to occupy. A president is always a president. He may not be the one with the authority now, but he represents that start of that statement. So, for example, he will not just come out and start because he understands sometimes what it means to be president. He understands the complication. So, yes. He will oppose the government as he has done on numerous occasions. He will issue position. He will take some. For example, when Twe was being arrested, the president came. He had a very elaborate press conference. He was very clear with regard to that.
When was that?
But you don't follow issue in Liberia.
Why were the president of Kofa being arrested?
That was last year.
But recently, we saw the president at the court. In fact, the president is the one who started the bomb.
In almost 18, 19 months, he spoke twice.
No, that's not.
That's not. Listen, Pewee.
Look,
they told
listen. That's not how the CMC going to get a spot. The spot, of course, the spot that CDC says, we worked hard to get there. You're not going to get there by your dangling politics about whether we quit. You must work hard.
We're not fighting a spot.
No, you're fighting a spot.
But listen.
As Sarah said, I agree with you. You're taking. You're the major opposition.
You have abdicated the position to anybody who wants it.
We give it to you. You're taking it.
There you go. It's time for us to go. Your closing.
Yes. Thank you. I think by and large, the respect for the rule of law is important, and we have to avail ourselves. It is the responsibility of every Liberian citizens to collectively push for us to respect the rule of law. The reason why everybody cannot be president, only one person, is this why we structure our constitution, and the constitution, as we may know, set up the government. And so it says one person will be president. And today we have Ambassador Boaka, as the president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency. We hope that he took oath to protect the constitution of our country. If he took oath to protect the constitution.
Pewee, point of correction. He was taking the oath and he fainted. So he didn't take the oath.
No. I want it.
Just a joke.
I know. He took the oath. The fact that the Chief Justice administered the oath, and yes, he took the oath before he even started the speech. He took the oath and before he started the speech, right? Unfortunately, at the end of the place, and that was quite unfortunate. And I can recall, and that's one of the reasons why I even got mad with those that established the platform. You know, you have a 79-year-old president. You understand that he the exhaustion at this critical time even here in the richest country across the world. At this critical time, the heat will kill a lot of people. A lot of people die from heat exhaustion and all of that. So they set up the way they set up the platform was not good, and
put a bulletproof vest on him.
Considering the age and the rest of that, it was not a good thing. But thank God that God with us, and our president is still with us. But I think he took the oath to protect and defend the Constitution of our country, and to take the oath to do that, it is paramount that you allow the Constitution, because the very Constitution says an attempt to abrogate or undermine the Constitution, it is tantamount to treason, right? Anyone that want to do that. So if you took the oath to protect, and you don't want to do that, that's a serious problem. I think we as people, we will have to collectively ask him, say, Mr. President, it's important that we respect our Constitution and let things move. Liberia is all we have. So people should do things to protect the country, protect the democracy, because it's an important thing that we all protected our country democracy and allow the rule of law to come. And that's it. After every 6 years, we have elections. The next election will come. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But in terms of if you are put out of office, do you expect the CMC administration to be witch hunting people? Do you allow that? Will you allow that? Will you allow those things to happen? And so it is quite unfortunate that they will have to do this. And trust me, the late Professor Jones Dopo said, Kasawali is sweet, very, very sweet. But it is not
uncle.
Yeah, it is not. It is not for good alone. And power is sweet, but it capsizes like a cruel kino. So this is just a reminder. It's a
not regular kino, but cruel kino.
The cruel kino. But you say cruel kino, you have to pro it also then, right? Yeah, it capsizes like a cruel kino. So I will remind those guys that are enjoying power today to be very, very much mindful of that. And one classic example that happened even about naked eyes was the late Justice Minister Jenkins Yakpawo's cart. That was very increasingly powerful in the 80s. Then some of our very thoughtless kids, they're moving about. We didn't know much yet. But the history taught us that he was increasingly powerful as Attorney General of the Republic of Liberia. Increasingly powerful. He sent to jail arbitrarily people. And he was one of those landed Liberian lawyers around. He came to...
I'm already landed, Pewee.
Huh?
Was he really landed?
He was very landed. That means a Columbia trained graduate.
Pewee, at that time, people serving government, they were not too scrutinized like that.
No, but he graduated from Columbia, right? He got from the Ivy League University of Columbia in New York. He's an extreme. But listen to the man first. Listen, when you hear the man speak English, you know that he's a very powerful, educated man.
That man, you fake Loma Siri.
No man,
you
see, now you interview Tomalin now.
He want to be the only Loma man that can rap book. Everybody else they are fake Siri.
No, listen, I'm not one of very educated Loma man. I mean, he was not only listen. He knew how to speak the English language like.
I tried that thing, bro.
Y'all can be saying anything. I said we have a Loma man, right? We speak English, right?
They are can get harder.
Nothing can get harder. We pronounce more, and the reason the request.
Why it is?
No, it's just that people can say L can get harder. Listen, the only way. Now I agree that some folks will have the problem, right? But. And for me, I wouldn't say for me, I went to Catholic school, so I did phonics, right? And like you learning to Mrs. Schoolboy used to say to us, A, elephant, A, B, Bob. So you get the fundamental understanding of, and you understand the etymology of words. And if you did that, you know the formations and how you put those things and the phonics into place, and you understand the rudimentary concept of those things. But beyond that, drinking Yakpa Scott was an extraordinary educated person.
Yeah.
He was very good. He's a Columbia tree, my dear brother. Trust me. Now, the reason why I'm saying that to us is that quickly, he was increasingly powerful during the Samuel Doe government as the Antonian General. But look at the way he died. He died on the dump site. He died begging for bread to eat. So that's why it's a power, and that's why I did reference the late folk singer and the English professor Jones Dupo in most of that. His famous son, Kasawa Lee and Power, they do capsa like a crew kino. So we all will be in power today. We need to think about what tomorrow is going to bring for us. Other than that, we will be subjected to this kind of a thing. And we shouldn't have a kind of a Caesar battle of governance. You do me, take for tack. You do me, I do you. You do me, I do you. No, the country wouldn't forge ahead. The country will remain backward. And the backwardness of the country is the reason why today we are where we are. So have a very good night, gentlemen. We look forward to tomorrow.
Thank you. Ahmed?
Well, it was a beautiful show. It started off a little rough, but all of those things are sometimes necessary for the drama of the show. This show.
You see, you should tell Joe we have to get some of that fire that you got in your belly. For the crew.
The man, a former president now, he can't be that.
Oh, come on now.
George, we are trimming. His legacy should be those of us he trained to not step it up. We don't expect you to can't be doing all the things, so we should do it. But anyway, as I said, it was a wonderful show. I mean, we emphasized some very great points. We hope that it descends into the general conversation of our people. I use this time to call on our lawmakers to ignore their salary. If we expect the citizens to take actions to raise the issue, we expect them to lead the way. Musa Belete is doing it. Of course, he has seen some effect on his personal business. But he said he doesn't care not because he wants to be an hero, but because he thinks it's a good thing to stand up for the Liberian people. Lawmakers are giving platform to represent the people. We think they should do that. And not to confront the government, but at least to register some position. Tomorrow, the Truth in Ink will release 2 additional articles. We encourage you to read it. One will be calling on George Weah to go back and bringing back his assets, his generals, putting his party back. To win the election, you must first win your party. And another one will be asking...
So George Weah lost his party?
Well, obviously, there
are big news. Also, George Weah is not in control of the CDC.
So there are cracks within the party. And I think as a leader, you fix it. I mean,
so we'll take advantage of that. So George Weah is not in control of the...
I'm not saying George Weah is not in control. I'm saying he need to... No. That's not what
I can't. Don't mescot the brother, please.
No. We all are political. I come on me. To get something back that you're not in control of is simple.
The brother is in the party, which is very true.
That's not true. I'm just saying. Listen.
You continue. To get something back, you're not in control of it.
That's not true. It is just a consequence of losing the election. It's not that he loses the party. We lose the election. Of course, these are some of the effects.
If you had to build a house, you see a crack. If you had to build a house, you see that crack in the foundation. Is that house guaranteed?
That's why you go and fix it.
So until you fix it, the house is not guaranteed.
Something doesn't mean it ain't there because you fix your car, the car for you again.
But you just started mentioning take control of the party.
So I didn't say so. I say you should bring.
What you said. So
he said to bring his general back.
No. Yes, he said to take control of the party, you got to bring the general back.
But of course.
And you
that doesn't mean you're not in control. You're bringing it back to consolidate because to go to war, you need all your forces. All your forces. So that's one article. The other article will be asking a question with 2029 produced for Liberia, Ibrahim Toure. With 2029 produced an Ibrahim Toure for Liberia, or will we have an Ibrahim Toure even before 2029? So those 2 articles will be thought-provoking, very informative, research-based. I encourage you to take a look at it. But good show.
Excellent. Sarah?
Yes, great show, as always. I just want to caution our people, every one of us on here, and the rest of the Liberian people, far and near, we all have to be alert and consolidate our efforts. There are glaring signs that this government is heading towards trouble for our country, with regards to the way they want to weaponize everything against You know, even poor people will not have justice. We saw what happened with the Fadiga case. Fadiga, one of the guys, he was supposed to go to jail, and there was just a telephone call that somebody made, and he came out of jail. So selective justice is what is going on in our country, which is not good for our country. We see in the case of Fonati and others, how they want to weaponize everything, you know, paying people, you know, to come and force them or testify against these people. There's not justice. The process is not transparent at all. We see all of these little things that are happening, okay? And also about a bill that was not even debated upon, just went through to the president to be signed. All of these things, and these people have successfully removed the speaker, remove gotten what they want. They're coming to have a Supreme Court, or they come to nominate someone on the Supreme Court, and they also want to have access to replace the commissioner of NEC in time to come. So all of these little things, we need to pay attention to it, because they are not depending on their works. They are depending on how they will weaponize things, so that even when 2029 comes, there will be no opposition at all. This is the way they are going. So Liberians, far and near, let's open our eyes. Let's consolidate. Let's keep the fire burning on these people, hold their feet to the fire, so that they will do the right thing for our country. Our country, our people deserve better. When we was in power, the country was not like this. He didn't weaponize the law. He didn't do whatever. The law was the law. Police operated independently. Now the police got to take order from either the special advisor to the president or whatsoever. And this is the situation we find ourselves in. So let's open our eyes. Let's remain intact, so that we can hold these people feet to the fire, that they will not take our country back to the dark days, because this is the road they are taking. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Namwe?
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Great show. Let me quickly join Conrad Yankan here. I didn't know this kid. Apparently Thomas Sobel got drafted into the NBA. Yes. I think it's a Liberian kid. I was just looking him up. I think he's from Trenton. Apparently his parent, Tana and Peter, I think the dad passed away from colon cancer, according to what I just read here. But let me join Conrad, congratulating him. And Conrad, if there are any other Liberian kids, you know, who got drafted, please let us know. But listen, great show. We started off by giving the president his props for the recent action he's beginning to take by suspending people. I think it was Admin or Sylvester who said, don't take it for face value. It might be, there's maybe some ulterior motive, and I get that. But for whatever it's worth, I think commendations are in order. He's acting, however, belatedly. But I appreciate the fact that he's beginning to take action. I just want to see somebody raise that in the other chat room. When these people will be prosecuted, suspension cannot be the end all. When these people, turn it over the lock and all that, we want to see prosecution and restitution. So, let me congratulate him, and we also commend the Ministry of Education, the Commission on Higher Education, to begin to streamline our education. Our education process is in tatters. The kids coming out of college, when you talk to some of them, not all of them, some of them are really doing well, but a good number of them, they're taking the word ARE for the letter I, they're telling you, I want to do this, they're spelling, it's just really mind-boggling. And this is our future. So I like to commend the commission for, coming out and trying to streamline our education system. I think we can do better. My own school, Cutner, is in there. I'm shocked. But like we said, almost all the major institutions are in there, from the University of Liberia down. So I hope, this is a wake-up call to the people. All of these fake schools, some of them really don't amount to anything. Some of these kids, they come here, nobody wants to have anything to do with a credential. They come here and they start all over because their credentials, even when they go to audit them, they don't amount to anything. Nobody accepts those credits. So congratulations to the team of Dr. Wonkoyo, and the rest of them. Now, before I pass it on, look, I disagree with Ahmed and Sarah here. We're all in the opposition, so I'm not trying to knock on the president, but the opposition is a full-time engagement. Either the president is ready or he's not. And the excuse that he's a former president, I don't buy that. You know, Jerome has already indicated other former presidents have been more active than this current president. You know, if leading the opposition community, you know, his former presidential status is too much for him, and he's not ready to come down into the trenches, then let him give it up to one of you guys. If he can't, we'll take it. You know, so I'm not going to be embarrassed to say that if he's not really ready to take it. But the opposition, we have to wake up. You know, my friend Steve Bole here from SKTV, you know, other people have been writing in the chat here. We can't wait until 2027 or 2028 to get started. We got to get started now because that's how we'll build momentum. And that's why it worries me a little bit about my friend John Molo and the others who are organizing the STAND campaign. I hope they're coordinating properly because if it becomes a flop, it will embolden this government. They will then think, you know, there's nobody who can stand up to them. So, you know, I hope they're doing it well and it will amount to something. You know, I'm not sure yet what the CMC, what it would be, you know, how it would, you know, I would die. I'm not sure yet.
You also what I would do the year bragging.
Every time I go to CMC, she just can't let me. She can't let me go on. But listen, before I pass it on, let me.
I gotta pay royalty for taking some of our new the change. I gotta pay royalty.
We do that mean? So, but let me say something to my young brother here who was tapping in the chat. He's busy writing all kinds of stuff. You know, I don't want
pay attention to that, brother.
I don't want to, you know, I don't want to dignify some of this. But let me just let him know. I have friends today who are still bearing the scars of violence that was perpetrated out to them in the political space. A lot of my friends have died because of violence meted out to them in the political space. Violence doesn't belong in politics. We can disagree. We don't have to bring violence. When you start to threaten people with brutality, you know, when you come down here, you'll be met with brutality. That is unwelcome, and that is objectionable. And I really need you to go home and think it over. You're calling me names, you're calling me ignorant, and I guess because I call you, I describe some of your name in some unflattering way. I get that, but please. Let's take the violence out of the politics because it is counterproductive. It doesn't help the situation. People get killed for no reason and it doesn't change the situation. So that's why I was telling you, please, you can write all you want, but advocating for violence, it is unwelcome and you need to really cut it out. We've seen enough violence. It is reported we lost 250,000 lives just in the Civil War alone, but there were other lives lost prior to that and even afterwards. That's what I'm trying to say. So thank you all very much. Great show. Hopefully we'll come back again tomorrow. Again, let me let you know we have some rain here in Jersey right now. The thermostat is starting to come down a little bit, but it's going back up, but at least it's getting a little cool down here. It's been a great show. Thank you.
Good. Two things real quick. One is the man or the person with the louder microphone is the one that the people rely on to lead the way. And that person is George Weah. He does not have to go and disparage people, but he can bring the limelight on what's happening. And some of us are willing to help with the opposition, where a guy with the power that can pick up the phone and call the Middle East, call France, call Great Britain, call anywhere, and people will listen. I can't do that. I cannot do that.
He did it, Jerome. Just to remind you, he stopped the bodyguard from going to France. He can do it.
There you go. Because somebody threatened to kill him, the French government said this man will not take the residence here. That's what we are talking about. And then second, I went to my twin girls' graduation. And the graduating GPA was, the top was 6.1, 5.5, 5.4. And these kids they were accepted out of several Ivy League schools. And like my twin girl said, we want to go to Florida State. We don't want to go to Dartmouth. During our days, when you hear Ivy League, you're running there. The reason these kids are doing it, they are so self-confident that whatever they will be, it doesn't matter what school they go to. I'm saying this to say I want to hail the Waka government for what it did this week. by putting our universities in check, closing some of them down. That when the kids graduate with a degree in Liberia, they should be competitive. I really.
So how did they put them in check?
Huh? What you said, Sarah?
How did they put a university in check?
The articles out there.
They closed down 31 universities and colleges.
Yeah.
And they put a University of Liberia, AMEU, cutting on probation.
Who did that?
The department, the higher education.
Commission
of Liberia?
But
yes.
This is not the first time, right? It happened before, and I hope they will stand very firm this time to ensure that the conditions, because there are basic certified criteria you have to meet via the higher educational standard to open a higher institution of learning. For instance, the Bashir University. How will you call it, say, Bashir University? I mean, I visited, another serious note, you have to first and foremost see the curriculum. Yeah, the curriculum will have to be another way after the national educational agenda thing. But you have to see the credential of those that are even the instructional staff.
Of course.
And secondly, you have to see the environment. Environment matters also, and see the infrastructure they have. And most of the universities that call themselves university, they will be far below the standard that the higher institution of learning was set for. So they did it before, and people came back and challenged, and those institutions came back. Beyond those universities, there are a lot of come, let's move nursing institutions. They call it nursing schools that are just graduating fly-by-night nurses in the country, and that more or less will pose danger to the country. So they will have to, I don't know if they will have to certificate or have to come from the nursing board, but they will have to move in those areas also.
No, one thing I would say though, Sylvester, and I agree with you, it may have happened before, but I think they can do it with periodicity. You know, it can't just be a one-time inspection. Let them do it periodically. Yeah, of course. And some of the things they complain about bathrooms, you know, unqualified teachers. So you face the bathroom, of course, you got to maintain it. After 3-4 years, if you're not maintaining it, it will get bad. So I think they should do it with more constancy. I think, and I agree with you, they might have done it before, but I think this is encouraging. They should just keep up, you know, keep making sure, you know, put them through the rigors. If they can't pass, shut them down. Even if you got to shut them down.
Unfortunately, that one of the institutions that is heavily underfunded in terms of the budget support. They are heavily underfunded. You see, those that are always play the role there, they have just been very probably prepared to just work their own very own. So if I were in now, the president was to inform the finance minister, say, find some money and put it, because that's the beginning of having a powerful society. Yeah, lucky to be said it. So to have a very wonderful and great economy, you should have an educated nation.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you should have an educated nation. So I mean, the government should pump more money in the higher educational institution to empower them, hire competent people, fearless people that will implement the process about having institutions that will respect all of those things. It's important, but they're underfunded. I hope they will put some money, serious money in the budget for them moving forward, and they will do they would not bend to anything. And just ensure that these things happen, but they will have to revisit also the health area also. There are a lot of nursing schools.
PCC is cautioning to be cautious. You said one of the schools was listed wrongly as illegal, so I hear you. But I think on the whole, the intention is good. I think that's what we're talking about. But I hear what you're saying. Right?
Yeah, when Dr. Marcos served in our capacity at the time, the same thing came with a kind of big thing, and again. See all the things unfolding, but yeah, it is important that it do. If they said the University of Liberia is on probation.
Yeah, University of Liberia, Cottington, AMEU, all those schools.
So I mean, no university in the country pass
with a flying colors. No. The one that doing well would be like Stella Marie. Those are private Cali schools, but those schools they talked about, they're really good.
Part of the reason why you will see Stella Marie in terms of meeting the benchmark is, the president of, I don't know if she stayed there because she's
Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown.
Yeah, yes, Mary Lauren Brown.
Sorry, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. The wife, she's waiting, so I got it wrong.
Okay, yeah, good.
Thank you guys very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Your honeydew.
We already, Dr. Mary Lauren Brown put some standard in place for Stella Marie. So is there like the Spiritan High School, you see all those things. But I mean, on a serious note, we have to keep higher institution of learning to certain standards, because the good thing for us quickly here, my brother, is that it's going to help, because if the higher institutions of learning are met to a certain standard in the country, when you leave on that to come outside, they will respect those credentials. You don't want for your credentials to.
Okay, guys.
All right. Have a good night, Mr.
Come back tomorrow, guys.
All right.
Bye.